It's time for Montgomery's conversational radio show. It's News and Views on News Talk 93.1 FM. To join the conversation, call 272-9228.
You never want a serious crisis to go to waste. And what I mean by that, it's an opportunity to do things that you think you could not do before.
I got worms.
I got hairy legs.
Proof of the pudding's in the eating. I mean,
you know, they used to say Abraham Lincoln got the worst press. I said, there's no way he got worse than me.
Those days, you remember the straight race, you'd bang them on the curb, get them rusty, put them in the rain barrel, get them rusty.
In politics, man must learn to rise above principle. After damning politicians uphill and down dale for many years as rogues, vagabonds, frauds, and scoundrels, I sometimes suspected, like everyone else, I often expect too much of them.
I like to do it at night when people aren't around.
This is how you conduct yourself in a democracy?
You never want a serious crisis to go to waste.
What the hell are we doing here?
We are behaving the way a superpower ought to behave.
Well, our behavior has produced some crappy results.
Hey, mister! I don't mean to be telling tales out of school, but there's a feller in there who'll pay you $10 if you sing into his can.
I'm not here to make a record, you dumb cracker. They broadcast me out on the radio.
Joey Clark.
Welcome into News and Views in the afternoon. I'm your host, Joey Clark, here on a Friday free-for-all. Let's bring in the whole cast of characters. We got Eddie, we got Sky, and I think a little later in the program, Brian Dawson will be stopping by. Okay. But how you gentlemen doing today?
Hanging in here like a hair in a biscuit, brother.
Yeah, oh, sorry, I make sure I got you on the right mic there, Sky.
Yeah, could be better, man.
Good.
Just ready, fired up.
Good. Is there anything on the top of anybody's mind today? Are we excited about football season beginning tomorrow?
I was.
I watched a little bit of football last night.
Yeah, I saw Florida get beat down by
baby.
Utah.
Beat down.
You say you were.
I don't know. I just kind of got a bad feeling for the conference a little bit. You know, the SEC
Really?
is supposed to be.
We might get a little beat up this year.
Kick over Utah.
They're 14th ranked, man.
Well, they ought to be.
Yeah, I mean they came and showed a little something.
Who does Auburn start with? UMass?
UMass. That's a
should be a challenge.
That's going to be on TV. I understand, unless you have Spectrum.
And then Alabama Sling.
That hurts.
Get over it, Eddie. It's not that big of a deal.
Yeah,
it is.
If you want to, pay for nice TV service, you got to pay for it. Stop stealing cable.
Listen to it on the radio. It's better anyway.
It's much better
nowadays.
And actually, most of the times we do. We, like most people, I turn up the radio and turn down the TV.
Okay.
That's the way to go. Man.
See, I never enjoyed that because the delay.
The delay. It takes a special kind of person that can handle that, Joey. You might need to have that.
No, but it just kind of like when Fife would get all excited, and I'm like, well, I'm already seeing this, man. Like, okay, you're a little behind the curve there, Jim.
But also, when I make the call, I get the backup within a second or two if I really made the right call.
I see what you mean. Yeah. Well, and also, I will say, I don't like doing that radio while you're watching the show, except when Gary Danielson is announcing a game. Can't stand that guy.
Of CBS.
At least Vern Lundquist would provide a little bit of, chortling good time fun.
Yeah,
they both were horrible.
No, I always loved playing the game with my buddies in college. Let's see if Vern is drunk.
Yeah.
And he always could tell when he started to sound like an outboard motor after he said everything.
Yeah. I thought the game was try to get as drunk as Vern. So.
Right, yeah, exactly. But now we'd have no Vern. And then Gary's commentary, which was often just dumb.
Awful.
Just so dumb. Like, I know he's a homer for the Crimson Tide, but he's not even good to them in the way he calls the game.
See, we don't believe that.
You don't believe
the
it?
royal we here. But,
okay.
No, the guy's just. I don't know how he got that job. I really don't.
Brother-in-law. Yeah. He's somebody's brother-in-law.
But more good news, Eli Gold.
He's back.
He is back. That's
Bama.
good.
So really, Bama,
And not being a Bama fan, I love the fact, though, that Eli Gold is back.
Yes, it's a legit broadcaster
It'll be
there.
just home games for now.
Is that right?
I'm glad
that's that. I missed him last year.
I did too. He's great.
I got to cuss at him a few times.
And who does Bama? What's the big challenge this week?
That would be Middle Tennessee State. Now, don't take them. I don't want to hear it, man. Don't take them lightly.
That's what kills me with Bama fans. They know they're going to walk all over every high school they play, but everyone they pretend to take seriously until 5 minutes after kickoff.
The Vegas line's only like 39 points.
Oh, my God. You guys will get that by half. By halftime, you'll
They
have that
did
lead.
upset Miami, the Hurricanes, the Florida Miami.
Yeah, but
So
they've been bad for a while.
Say it's not that big a surprise.
That's branding. Okay.
Killed
Doing
me.
my best.
Bama
all right?
fans just kill me.
leave
So
alone.
spoiled.
At least y'all ain't playing Appalachian State. Like,
Oh,
they're
all right,
always
all right,
that
all
upset.
right.
Oh, they're the
Look,
spoilers, baby.
Let's stop this. This is not a productive area of discussion.
Well, a fun way to start today could be kind of a media analysis. Often I will, to remind myself of what the regime propaganda, what the establishment wants you to believe, I will go to the Drudge Report, which, used to be like, Trump Central. It used to be the place that conservatives would go to, and no longer. I don't know what happened to it. But it's always interesting to see what are they throwing up there. Now, often, all websites in news will have the same thing. If it's like the fires in Maui or the hurricane hitting Florida, yeah, there are some news events where everybody just covers it, and that's fine. But it's always interesting when it's a slow news day, and it was slow yesterday. It's very slow today. It's how the holidays work.
Yeah.
You look out for, okay, what are they going to push here? So, when you look at other websites, they're like unemployment unexpectedly jumps this month. Payrolls have been revised down every month.
Yeah, so they've been caught lying again.
Yes, yeah, exactly. Trump said he might take part in future debates. I'm getting all this from more of your conservative right-wing folks, but here's a general one. Judge rules Trump's Georgia trial to be televised and live-streamed.
I saw that last night. I heard somebody announce it, I think, last night.
Man.
Interesting.
What is it? Is it going to be like an episode of Judge Joe Brown?
The circus is coming to town.
Judge Joe Brown is a pretty good big fan of the old Trumpster.
Yeah, actually, you're right. What about Judge Judy?
I don't, it's hard to read her. I used to really like her, but when she got her new show and new contract, and she didn't take that bailiff that had been with her for 20-something years, kind of lost a little bit for the old Judge Judy. That was just selfish.
So, ma'am, you're saying, or sir, you're saying that your ex-wife is not spending the alimony, the child support, on actually supporting the child. That's
Shocker.
right, ma'am. It's just like the fights people get into that have to go to court.
Oh, my favorite ones
It's awful.
are the neighbors. They'll literally be fighting over a border.
Oh,
Over,
yeah.
like 2 foot between their driveways.
Oh, that'll lead a man to, threaten another man's life. Just ask the head of the DOT here in Alabama.
It really has. I've seen, that's very true. I've seen that as well. And I've seen people have it surveyed, and then at night the neighbor comes over and moves the survey markers. Like, what are y'all doing? This is 2 feet.
You can see how the Hatfields and McCoys got
I
going,
can see that, yeah.
it's you start fighting, you don't even know what you're fighting about, and what started it all.
We just love to fight.
Reminds me of Eastern Europe. But that brings me back to Drudge. Because they're constantly, when you see especially the establishment GOP, I mean, Ukraine's winning. They're clearly winning. And if you just suggest otherwise, then you're just spouting Russian talking points. You're a puppet for Putin. So they usually shy away from any Russian sourcing, like Russia Today, that sort of stuff.
Right.
Honestly, I don't use RT as a source either. But, it is good to look at all sources when you're trying to assess something like a war. You try to read through the lines of everybody's propaganda and how they change it over time and whatnot. But Drudge hardly ever, or I can't remember the last time, presented a story with the sourcing being Russian because of this whole war. Well, today that changed because, if I go to the Drudge Report, it should be the top story. They just changed it this morning. It's that. It's Tucker assassination fear. Now, they're not talking about Tucker Carlson worried about Donald Trump being killed. And he's been saying that outright. Ask Trump to his face. No, they're talking about Tucker Carlson being killed. So, folks, if you are looking at the live stream, you can see this right along with us. But this whole thing is, it's ominous. Because it's not just, Tucker Carlson assassination fears, worried about Trump. No, this is fears about Tucker being killed.
That's interesting.
Telling too much truth.
From the Daily Beast, this is what the link goes to. Russian propagandist says Tucker Carlson is a dead man walking. Russia is still dealing with the fallout from the stunning demise of the head of the Wagner Group, Yevgeny Prigozhin, and his associates, all of whom recently perished in a fiery plane crash. This week, Kremlin spokesperson Dmitry Peskov told reporters that several possible causes are being considered, including the possibility that it was a deliberate atrocity. The same propagandist who previously asserted that Prigozhin must die for organizing an embarrassing mutiny that shattered the illusion of Vladimir Putin's tight grip on power. Y'all keep writing your fairy tales. Have sharply changed their course once their wish came true. They're now desperately spinning their wheels, attempting to impugn foreign powers for organizing the incident, and even predicting that General Sergei Surovikin, a former commander of Russian forces in Ukraine, nicknamed General Armageddon, might be next. On Thursday, Russia's most prominent propagandist even more pompously predicted that soon there might be another potential victim. Former Fox News host and current X podcaster Tucker Carlson. The latest broadcast of the evening with Vladimir Solovyov, or something like that, Vladimir Vodka, featured multiple clips of Carlson's hysterical predictions, including his claim that the U.S. government is getting ready to go to war with Russia, a war he implied the U.S. would lose. Wait. Hysterical predictions, including his claim the U.S. government is getting ready to go to war with Russia. How is that a hysterical prediction?
Another hysterical prediction.
And I realized something this morning. I should have realized it before. But you'll hear these folks, the lesson they learned, the establishment types like a Nikki Haley or a Mike Pence, or even, Joe Biden, a lot of the Democrats that like war. The lesson they learned from Iraq War II, is just no boots on the ground. Now, we can still send special forces and advisors and weapons and run all their surveillance capacity for, the army we're supporting and provide intelligence and all these different things, the latest weapons, yada, yada, yada. But as long as there are no boots on the ground, the American people are so stupid they won't have a problem with it.
Right, it's no death toll report.
That's what we learned, that Americans don't care about other people dying. They only care about Americans dying. And Americans are so stupid, we just go, no boots on the ground, and they think we're not at war. And for the longest time, that's worked, I guess.
Working, yeah.
It's the lesson of Vietnam.
But when you are essentially paying for everything of a nation fighting another nation, you're escalating the types of weapons you're sending into the theater. A lot of Ukrainians are ending up dead because of this. They're hanging their hat on the Russian, or the Ukrainians just broke through the first line of defense of Russia. Kinda.
Kinda let them.
Kinda, yeah, exactly. Kinda let them.
Kinda let them.
Right. Go to this one area where there's kind of an open space where we can hit you from both sides. We'll see how it shakes out. But, the so-called cauldron that the Russians have built, apparently. But it's just fascinating to me that you hardly ever see Drudge hosting what is the talking points of Russian propagandists. But the one time they do is when those Russian propagandists are saying that Tucker Carlson might be a dead man walking. Here's what the Russian propagandist said. Who asked that? Who says that? A dead man walking. He sincerely believes that the next step after the accusations and declaration of impeachment will be the assassination of Trump. But this man, who is currently the most popular English-speaking journalist, signed his own death warrant by trying to go interview Vladimir Putin. So is that a good thing or a bad thing the Russians are saying that, Drudge and Daily Beast? What are we promoting here exactly? 272-9228. Yeah, but it's hysterical to claim that anybody's trying to pick a fight with Russia. That's just hysterical. Well, and then if you don't back our fight with Russia, you're a traitor.
Right.
Usual bullcrap from
Tucker say
DC.
that Russia would win?
Yeah.
Yeah, so what are they so upset about?
He's also been pushing to, interview Putin for how long, and they just can't believe. Why would you want to interview Vladimir Putin? So why wouldn't I want to talk to him?
Right, it's in the news.
Why wouldn't I?
He's kind of a player right now.
Right.
So.
Yeah, but these really important people are awful, so we can't cover it. It's not news.
Right. I don't get what the Russians are so upset about with Tucker Carlson.
Oh, no, I think they're projecting their own
Fear?
gangsterish political culture onto the United States. And hey, maybe they're not wrong.
Well, could be.
I think it'd be real dumb
There's
to
precedent.
kill Tucker Carlson. But
Yeah.
at this point, I wouldn't be surprised. In fact, I worry about how bad things are getting, but you got to remember back to, say, the 60s. Bombings were every other week, all over the country. assassinations, a lot of them. So thank God we haven't gotten there yet.
Riots.
Well, now we just assassinate your character and take away your money. And
It's a different game.
Debank you, deplatform you, because you're spreading not just misinformation, Eddie. It's not that you're just dumb. We think you're spreading disinformation, just information. You know it's false, and you're just trying to sow discord. And you're also, and this one drives us really crazy, you're telling people stuff that's true, but it's very inconvenient to our cause.
Like ivermectin?
Yeah, the horse paste. Yeah, I thought
a couple days ago, or I think a month or so ago, that's perfectly legit again.
It's hard
Right.
to keep up.
Right. No, but that's exactly what they're doing. I think that's in particular with the war between Russia and Ukraine is like, stop saying things that are true but that are inconvenient to our narrative. You're not down with the cause.
Right.
Being down with the cause and being a good American means accepting our fairy tales and lying on behalf of your fellow countrymen. Shows your loyalty. Where's y'all's loyalty to anybody else who disagrees with you, who's also a fellow American? I'm so tired of the American people being treated like cattle that can go be thrown and thrown at any problem around the world and milked to fund solving all those problems around the world. I'm tired of being milked. I think a lot of Americans are. Wait, why'd y'all look weird when I said that?
Nothing.
We've been tired of it, Joey. American adventurism abroad.
Yeah.
The business of war.
Now,
it's been going on for a long, long time.
Folks, we are now live streaming the radio show. You can watch it on Facebook, on YouTube, Joey Clark Live on YouTube. Subscribe to the page. I would be very grateful if you like the show. And you can also go to Twitter or X at the Joey Clark. And Jeff Mallinson, you know that guy.
Oh, yeah.
Said he's listening from Annapolis, Maryland.
Up in Maryland, huh?
Yeah.
Stay out of Baltimore.
And Sam, do you have anything else other than listening to this show? I love you, buddy.
Yes, he does. He's got a whole farm.
That's true.
In fact, he's been waiting for a young Joey Clark to come down there and do some farm work.
Yeah?
I mean, now we got harvest times coming up, so you could certainly, use the exercise. Let's be honest. You could use the exercise.
What are you talking about?
Get back to the
I might have been eating like crap lately, but I'm back and I'm losing inches on the waist.
Okay. Good for you. Maybe not on the backside.
No, that's from all the squats.
Oh,
brother.
I didn't know you were trying to develop that. Good job, then.
No,
Good job.
strong glutes are good for back strength and just general overall
When are you
physical
going to get that
strength.
lift?
It's also great for a nice thrust.
You
know.
got that flat.
Like, why don't you go learn how to do a hang clean? It might help you.
Hang clean?
Hang clean. It might
got
help
time for
you
that?
in other areas.
What's that going to do for me?
Sounds painful.
Thank you. Thank you.
Anyway, Sam says, anyone with an opinion and platform best be aware of their surroundings. Eric says, hola, fellas.
Hola.
Been a while since we heard from Eric the dog, but I think during noon to 3 he's working.
He is working very hard.
He's often
and it's out of the-
working.
Yeah,
out
he's
of
coming
the,
to town, I think, in a
state.
couple weeks.
Okay.
Stay up at the lake with us.
Nice.
Well, but it's Friday. We can go wherever y'all like. But I wanted to start with that, like, oh, really? This is what's at the top of Drudge Report. The Russian propagandists, which they are talking about Tucker's assassination by the West.
Yeah.
That's an interesting thing to lead with.
But hyperbolic.
Hyperbolic happy Labor Day weekend, folks.
Bunch of crap.
You all right?
Yeah. I'm ready to go. Got stuff to do.
Well, if you start staring off in the distance, though,
Well,
like
if you-
Mitch McConnell, I'm going to call your wife.
Dude, has anything been said about the Mitch?
Oh, Biden said something.
What'd he say?
Here, let me see if I can.
think I'm bad. Look at this guy.
I want to see if I can find it, like, within a few seconds here. Because it's actually a clip. Because, Joe and Mitch go way, way back.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. All the
Like-
way back
Part
to
of the
the
problem.
grammar school.
They really do go way back. I don't know if I'm going to be able to find this that quick. Biden essentially said that, Mitch called me. And he just he recently had a concussion. And on the phone, though, he sounded like his old self.
But it just paused.
Yeah.
Quiet. I'm waiting for you to
It's
tell
hard
me
to
what to do,
tell.
buddy.
Yeah, thick as thieves, folks. They'll lie for each other about war and about their medical conditions. 272-9228. But that's what is required in politics. Loyalty to people that are actually your friends. We can talk about the people, but not all the people are your friends. In fact, you might have to punish some of them for not being your friend.
I'm ready for the punishment part. Do I get to administer the punishment?
No.
Or am I just receiving?
You're going to be on
I'm always on the receiving end.
You're going to be on the wrong end of it. You're on the wrong end of the historical stick that's about to whack you.
It's just another day.
This part of the program, brought to you by the Alabama Gazette, but I'm not going to tell you about them. Sky Mosley is.
I'd love to. Very, very pleased and proud to be associated with the Alabama Gazette. They've been providing you with a conservative newspaper for 24 years. Coming up October 1st,
nice.
They will celebrate their big anniversary. The Alabama Gazette has always been God, family, and country. That's the banner they publish under. They've always lived up to it. Pro-life, pro-family, pro-America. That's the Alabama Gazette. And there's going to be a big party downtown at their offices. October 1st. Public will be invited. There'll be all kinds of fun and surprises, and we'll be telling you more about that as we go forward. Meanwhile, please consider the Alabama Gazette. It is a great value for your advertising dollar. Always someone that shares your values, your principles. The Alabama Gazette. 356-6700. That's the number to call. 356-6700. Space is limited for that big 24th anniversary October 1st issue. So give them a call now. Reserve your advertising space. 356-6700. The Alabama Gazette.
Appreciate it, Sky. And Joseph Royal says, howdy, folks. And then he makes a good point because, it's a force of habit that I give out the number, 272-9228. But correct me if I'm wrong, Sky, but the phones aren't working.
Phones quit in the final hour of Alabama Unfiltered today.
Y'all broke the phones? Y'all were rocking. I know y'all had a good show going on.
Sometimes when you have women on the air who are that talented and good looking.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
You thought I was going elsewhere,
I thought
right?
you were going elsewhere. Back it up, buddy.
I like to keep you keep your head on a swivel. You never know. But when you have women that talented, that good looking on there, sometimes the phone company just can't take it.
Can't keep up. But the truck was here earlier, I noticed.
Yeah.
So hopefully we'll have the phone lines back up and running soon.
Hey, and if you can't call in because the phones are down, you could always go to the live stream and leave a comment, whether it's on YouTube or the Book of Faces.
Or Joey, you got your cell phone. It's like 334-207 something. You should throw that number out there. It works,
8675309.
There you go. And if Jenny answers, hang up.
Hang up. That's right.
Yeah,
he's so dedicated to the show. Put your cell phone number out there. Come on, get the callers to call. I'll bet they will call all day and all night.
Don't do it, man.
Especially off the podcast.
Don't do it.
334-270. Something like that.
We gotta hit a break, folks. I'm gonna hurt Eddie during that.
Folding
we'll see
chairs,
how.
right now.
That's right.
Folding chair and the paddle are gonna be used today. We'll be right back.
He may not know whether he's coming or going, but whether you're going to work or coming home, Greg Budell is there. Mornings, 6 till 9, and afternoons, 3 till 6. Only on News Talk 93.1 FM, WACV.
Hi, I'm Ray Bowles from Prattville Carpet. If you're looking for waterproof carpet, hardwood, laminate, vinyl plank, or ceramic tile, call us today for your free measurement.
During Prattville Carpet's summer sale, you can get Mohawk waterproof flooring, regularly priced at $11 per foot installed, right now priced at $7 per foot installed. That's huge summer savings. And get interest-free financing for up to 12 months with approved credit. Call 285-8117 or visit PrattvilleCarpet.com.
Prattville Carpet, we're more than just carpet.
Hey, we're talking to Tammy. Tammy, why does everybody loves Mama's Produce?
Goodness, there's a whole lot of reasons to love Mama's Produce. We got ice cream. Man, have we got some fresh peas. We've got fresh limas. We've got watermelons, tomatoes. There's a whole lot of reasons to love Mama's.
And Tammy, I understand you got some fantastic watermelons.
Actually, right now I've got in some yellow meat, some sugar babies, some seedless, and I've got some Jubilees that just came in.
And of course, Tammy, you keep everybody up to date on your Facebook page.
We try to stay engaged on Facebook, and if I don't answer you on Facebook or Messenger, I'll sit down at the end of the day and go through them.
Tammy, that sounds good. Now tell us where you are.
We're at 1154 South Memorial Drive in Prattville. It's about a half a mile south of the Midtown McDonald's, attached to Prattville Farm Center and right across from Pig Enterprise. Yep, we close at 5:30 Monday through Friday and Saturday at 2. Everybody loves Mama's.
Cashback is not available on gas in New Jersey and Wisconsin. John, what are you doing? Get in my car. Why are you walking to work?
Thanks, man. It's these insanely high gas prices. They are draining my bank account. I can't afford to drive anymore.
Dude, don't walk. Just do what I do, because I never pay full price for gas anymore. I use the free Upside app that pays you cash back for every gallon of gas you buy.
Wait, you're telling me you get paid cash when you buy gas with the Upside app?
Yes, I get real cash back every time I buy gas.
Does that actually add up to anything?
I'll make around $200.
Wow, that's serious extra cash. I'm downloading the free Upside app now.
Download the free Upside app now to earn real cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code WINNING for an extra 25 cents a gallon bonus on your first tank. That's promo code WINNING. You can cash out anytime right to your bank account, to PayPal, or an e-gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code WINNING for 25 cents a gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code WINNING.
For too long, Alabama's statewide news companies have shamed us for our conservative Christian values. Alabama deserves a news company that cherishes our culture, a company that isn't bought and paid for by the powers that be. 1819 News is that company. Run by Alabamians for Alabamians, 1819 News celebrates what is good and beautiful about our state, while exposing those who work against our values in secret. Just go to 1819news.com to learn more. Subscribe to our newsletter. That's 1819news.com.
The River Region's first and only news talk station on FM. Live, local talk. News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
Welcome back to News and Views in the afternoon. I need to get the updated version of this thing on here.
Had me going singing the updated one.
Oh, yeah?
It's not here.
Well, no, it's going to be one big heavy lift. Maybe this weekend.
Got
Throw
3
some
days.
new things in there.
Got 3 days, Joey.
I got
Come
3
on.
days.
Let's do something with it now.
Just lock myself up at home.
I don't know about all that, but you know.
No, record.
Maybe a day of that, but you don't want to go away for 3 days and then come out. The world can change.
Okay, this is going to make some people look at me odd if they aren't already.
That's the normal, okay.
Yeah, see, tilted down even more is my idea. Like, we all need to be kind of on the same level. There we go.
But I'm taller than y'all.
There you go. Now we're good.
I like sitting over here
I honestly feel like I got stuff to do. I need to write. I need to make music. I need to read more stuff. I need to be learning, and not just for the show, but because I like doing that stuff and have some ideas I need to exercise and develop. And I feel like, and it started a few years back, when I sit all day on Saturday, for instance, and watch college football all day, I don't feel happy. I feel like I'm wasting a lot of my precious time.
That's the next day for me. During it, I'm
That's
very
your
excited
conscience
and
talking, by the way.
Yeah, really. It feels like this is such a waste of what I could be doing.
Waste of your potential.
Right. I enjoyed it during college. I enjoyed it, early 20s, but lately I just feel that itch of where I'm like,
That's good, because you'll come back to this. You'll go and do those things, and one day you'll get a little tired, and it'll be about SEC football time, and you'll be like, oh.
Right. I buy an RV. I'm there every Saturday on the plains. Yeah.
So run now. Do all the energetic things you have to do, because as you get older, that energy level and the couch magnet really starts pulling you down.
Yeah, it
do
does
it now.
kick the conscience out.
Yes. And then that feeling you have, you'll be having that feeling, but the guilt is not so strong. You're like, this is a great way to spend my weekend.
Okay, yeah. I don't know. I'm not begrudging anybody from enjoying their life, and if football's what does that for you, awesome. But, lately, I always used to go home to my dad, because he was that way. He was like graduate of Auburn, I think 1985. And great years with Bo Jackson and all that stuff. And he was always a fan. Like, he'd watch. He had me playing football as a kid and stuff. But I noticed as I was I was playing in high school, I'm watching Auburn football. I'm a huge Tampa Bay Buccaneers fan, NFL fan in general. Like, I'm watching football like it's a religion to me. And it was a lot of fun. And I'm like, Dad, why don't you come over, we'll watch the game? He just seemed disinterested. I'm like, what happened to you? What happened to you? And now, fast forward 15 years, I'm like, Dad, I get it. And so you know what we did last time I went to visit him?
What's that?
We sat on the couch all day and watched college football.
Yes.
There you go.
See, I'm telling you, you are where he was at. He had other things to do, just like you, but you're going to come back to the college football.
Cats
and it's
in the
going to be
cradle.
there for you. It's going to be there for you.
Anyway, 272-9228. This part of the program brought to you by New Look Decorating Center. Man, they've got a great team there. In particular, that manager they got, Brett Lanham. Talented fella. And he's also very passionate about his job, about paint.
Yeah.
So, folks, if you're looking to get a job done, whether it's a do-it-yourself or you're contracting out the job and you want that high-quality Benjamin Moore paint and that excellent service,
that's the best stuff.
New Look Decorating offers. Go by, see Brett and the team. Of course, Brett's a paint specialist, so is Jordan, so is Katie. Brian Carr, the owner, is as well. And, hey, by the way, if you're interested in wallpaper and fabrics,
they have a specialist just for that.
Katie is the person to go see. She is the one who has specialized in wallpapers and fabrics, including that new Tebow wallpaper everybody's talking about. But again, it could be you just need a can of paint or two for a bedroom repaint you're going to do yourself over the weekend. Could be you need a lot of product because you're repainting the whole exterior of your home and you're contracting that out. They can help you with all of those sorts of jobs there at New Look Decorating Center. So you can always go to newlookdecoratingcenter.com or give them a call at 271-0007. But I really encourage you to stop by that beautiful showroom. They're at 6237 Atlanta Highway, right where Bell Road dead ends to Atlanta Highway.
Yep.
You'll see it there in all its glory. Benjamin Moore's New Look Decorating Center. And be sure to tell them, well, you heard about them here from Joey and Eddie and Sky on News and Views in the afternoon.
You know, it'd be a fun live spot is we could relive our childhood. We could set up a ramp over there and jump the ditch going into New Look.
Jump the ditch?
Jump the
First.
ditch. I'm the oldest. You guys got to go first. Make sure it's safe for the old man.
How have you lived this long?
You never jumped a ditch?
Grew up in Chisholm. Man.
Right.
Grew up
You
hard.
never
Grew
jumped
up
a ditch?
lean.
I got a feeling.
No, is it a rite of passage to stick a fork in a light socket for you?
No.
Is that how Chisholmites do it?
No, not a fork. Use a butter knife.
A butter knife?
Fits in there a lot better.
What about a paper clip? You ever use that?
No, it's silly. Doesn't really hold voltage. It just burns and melts.
Well, I don't know. You got something happened to you.
I lived.
But not well.
Can you even wheelie a bicycle? Can you wheelie? Let's go to the basics.
I can pop a wheelie.
Oh boy, here we go. Can you ride a bicycle?
Yeah. Yes.
I don't know, man.
Yeah.
There's a
No.
little hesitation
That's
there.
another family story where it's like, those trips that the family is going to go on?
Yeah.
The family time, family vacation, family plans.
Those
but
are the
really, family is just another word for what mom wants to do. It's like kids, Gary.
so
like,
true, Joey.
Man, I miss her something fierce, like I've said before. But there were moments where it was like, oh my goodness, because she would always say it's a family thing. And so one was we're going to go biking up and down the trails and go see the butterfly house at Callaway Gardens.
Oh, that sounds so exciting.
Yeah, and me at like 13, I'm like, what? Butterfly house?
Feel a sore throat coming on.
Yeah,
there,
exactly.
Mom.
What is this? But, at the end, you look back, and it's a fun memory to have.
But were you a bit of a pest on that field trip, Joey?
No, I was actually very good. I was almost too good. Seriously,
Really?
my sister-in-law, they're about to have a kid. And they haven't done a gender reveal. They're waiting to the day.
I love that.
Which is pretty cool. So
God,
it's either
it's
going to be a niece or a nephew in the family.
You're either going to be an uncle or an aunt. I got you.
Yeah, and I look forward to. Well, that's a whole other question. Anyway, I look forward to that day, but they apparently have been going through old family home videos. And there's one of my brother. It was right before his baptism, and so they put all that little gown on the babies, even if And I was sitting there trying to help, and so I must have been 4. And I'm sitting there trying to help, like, my little boy shorts and stupid little, I look like a little Dutch child.
That's what I was thinking. The Dutch
No,
boy thing.
the way my mother dressed me, I'm like, no wonder I got made fun of at school. And I'm sitting there trying to put the cap on and all this stuff, and I lean over, and you can hear it on the old audio, and I whispered to my mom, 4 years old, he looks like Whitney, my cousin Whitney. And I'm like, okay, I guess I came by comments like that honestly, even at a young age. But it does take you back. And you miss those times.
Oh, yeah.
Especially when you're so unaware of yourself.
Oh, when we lived overseas, we lived in Turkey. I was probably 10, 11, 12, somewhere in that. Our parents drug us to ruins.
Hmm.
You know, we went to Ephesus, went to the...
that's cool.
Yeah, exactly. Went to the Virgin Mary's house or something like that. All kinds of just incredible places to go. Sardis. As a 10-year-old...
Anne Frank Museum?
No, we never made that far. As a 10, 11, 12-year-old, I hated it. Because all my friends got to hang out all weekend, but we were being drugged all over Turkey. But now, as an adult, and get back to look at those pictures, that was an amazing time.
Got your little culture
Absolutely
there.
amazing.
Inspired yourself, didn't you?
Yeah, and what was really funny, though, and it's still to this day, as we walked along Ephesus, the streets of Ephesus, there's still sheep herders there. To them, that's not Ephesus. That's just where they herd their sheep. It means nothing to them. And they were always like, why are these dumb Americans always coming over here? You know, and we got to provide security. Yeah, I mean, they did not like us.
Now, did you ever have to go on a school field trip to your hometown?
No,
I mean, like, you could do something across town, go to the Fine Arts Museum,
we've done that here,
or
yeah.
you know, like fun stuff like you could do locally. But at Catholic, we did some great field, like Moundville, back when they were still doing the Civil War reenactment in Selma. Did that? Like, I remember a bunch of these things. And then again, as you become a teenager, you're way too cool for school. You're pretty much too cool for everything.
Yep.
And I got involved in a thing called Governor School here in Alabama. It was back when Bob Riley. It actually was a great experience. It was like it was like a 2-week thing at Samford University. So you got a taste of the college life, got to take college courses, but also in a way that was kind of relaxed and fun and networking and talk to Bob Riley for a second, all this stuff. But in the middle of like the 2 weeks, they're like, okay, group, we're going on a field trip today to go see another part of Alabama. I'm like, where are we going? They're like, Montgomery. I'm like, what are we doing? We're going to...
Can we stop by my house?
We're going to Old Alabama Town, and we're going to see Man of La Mancha at Alabama Shakespeare Festival. I'm like, can we go anywhere? Anywhere. And actually, the Man of La Mancha is a pretty good musical.
Shakespeare theaters.
Yeah, the Shakespeare Theater is a true gem of the
You never
city.
had the field trip to like Scared Straight programs or anything like that?
No, they never.
Oh, you went private school, didn't you, buddy?
Yeah.
Never been to jail, Joey?
Because again, when you look at like childhood photos of me, you want to go, hey kid, why don't you go get in some trouble? You're being too good.
Hey, my son Justin, thank God, was a great kid. He had a couple very small bumps in the road, nothing compared to his mom and dad. And we kept waiting for it. We just kept waiting, man. We were not the best kids growing up.
No, but I really was raised to follow the rules, like operate in good faith, be considerate. There's all this stuff, and as I've gotten older, especially as I cover politics, I'm like, what a jip.
Yeah.
What a jip?
Yeah. It seems like everybody gets ahead in this world, just breaks the rules and craps on other people and tramples all over them and acts like it's a service, like they're God's messenger. What was I doing following the rules?
Well, we need rubes, Joey. This world needs rubes.
And I still play the part every day. This part of the program brought to you by River Region Contracting. You okay, Sky?
I was just thinking how sad all that was.
Welcome to my show.
This your first day?
Welcome to my life. But what I try to do is make comedy out of the...
It works pretty good.
The melancholy. But yeah, River Region Contracting, great sponsor because, well, they are the premier roofing contractor here in the River Region. So whether you have an asphalt or a metal roof, it should be inspected every 3 to 5 years for basic preventative maintenance. And so maybe you just had an inspection, but some storms just rolled through, and you're worried about those bumps in the middle of the night. Well, you can still call up River Region Contracting, and here's the deal. That inspection, free.
Maybe you bought a house a little bit hasty after about 5 minutes and you didn't get it inspected. Now you got to call them to come inspect your roof.
Yeah, you better get on that.
Mistake.
Now, and it could be, hey, they don't find a problem at all. You're golden, and it doesn't cost you anything for them to tell you that.
That's exactly right.
But then say they do find a problem. Well, they can give you an estimate on how to fix it.
It's and accurate and honest estimate.
Yeah. It's also like free, like in the sense of them giving you that estimate.
Yeah.
No cost.
It's pretty impressive. So they can work on asphalt and metal roofs?
Yep.
Yeah, Jack Campbell had his brand new asphalt roof put on recently. You got a metal roof.
And believe it or not, they're going to come look at another roof of mine now. Now that we did this commercial, I just remembered.
And they're a team of insurance specialists.
Oh, yeah.
So if you you have a problem your insurance might cover, they can actually walk you through that claims process,
Yes.
make it a swift and easy experience.
I've seen that, Joey. I've seen them do that with 2 or 3 friends and clients of mine, and they absolutely stand right by them the whole time. It's better than you taking on the insurance company yourself, because chances are,
right.
you're gonna go in.
So y'all check out River Region Contracting today, the River Region's premier roofing company. 356-8635 is their number, 356-8635. And be sure to tell them, well, you heard about them here on News and Views in the afternoon. Should we hit a break?
Yeah.
Again, it's Friday right before a holiday, so I'm like barely here. That's why I'm going down memory lane. And if you really do look at the news today, it's the same old bull crap.
Yeah.
We'll be
we
right
could have
back.
a lot more fun.
Same old crap?
Yeah.
Want to carry News Talk in your pocket? Download the News Talk 93.1 app from the App Store. Available on iPhone and Android. Never miss a moment. Download now.
Actor Portrayal, based on a real patient experience.
I'm Mike. I'm a husband, proud father of 2, work my butt off 6 days a week, some nights too. When my family or my company needs me to make it happen, I make it happen. But a few months ago, I started having trouble making it happen, in the bedroom. I tried some pills online, but they didn't work. Honestly, I thought about throwing in the towel on my sex life, but I'm not that old. I still want to enjoy intimacy with my wife. Like that poet said, I don't want to just go gently into that good night. So I went to Montgomery Men's Health. I got some lab work and a urologist prescribed me some meds. Wow, it made it happen. I can't say enough good about them. They took care of me, followed up, and made adjustments to make it happen even better. I even learned I had low testosterone, which they were also treating me for. And I have never felt better. If I were you and you're like me, I'd give them a call today at 334-440-3663 or go to MontgomeryMen'sHealth.com. If you're like most guys, they'll make it happen for you too.
You don't have to pay today, tomorrow, or the rest of the year. It's the No Pay Labor Day event at Toyota Montgomery. Now through Monday, take your pick from new Toyotas like Camry, Corolla, RAV4, Highlander, and more. And pay nothing down and no payments till next year, 2024. We're just getting started saving you money. Because when you buy Labor Day weekend, you don't have to pay any interest. Get unprecedented 0% APR financing on new Toyota models. Every payment goes directly to principal, and you don't pay the bank a penny. It's the absolute best time to buy a new Toyota because you don't have to pay. No money down, no payments till 2024, and no interest. All offers absolutely end Labor Day Monday. Get more from your Toyota store. Hurry to the all-new Toyota Montgomery today. Online at toyotamontgomery.com.
$0 down on select new vehicles. 0% APR financing on select new 2023 vehicles. With approved credit through dealer preferred lender with $100,000 financing limit, maximum payment of $1,000 per month through 2024. Plus tax, title, license, and $995 doc fee. May not be combined with some offers. Ends 9/5/2023.
Is your cell phone or iPad cracked, broken, or not working right? Don't let the big carrier stores sucker you into a new $1,100 device. Let XI Repair fix your device today. XI Repair fixes cell phones, computers, laptops, iPads, game consoles, drones, and more. Their certified technicians fix hundreds of devices every day. When your device needs care, call XI Repair, 334-777-1234, or Google XI Repair.
Shaw's Garden Center and Landscaping will help make your life easier with their large variety of low-maintenance shrubbery. Pine straw bales only $4.50. Save 10% on their extensive assortment of ornamental concrete and 25% on select hanging baskets and bedding plants. As the area's exclusive retailer, you can save 5% on wood furniture by Grassy Ridge Gazebos. Visit 3295 Wetumpka Highway in Montgomery. Like them on Facebook or go to shawsgardencenter.com.
Rich Thomas weather brought to you by H&H Carpets, where you will find a complete line of Mohawk carpet with exceptionally clean, smart strand fiber. It's always available and ready to be installed. H&H Carpets, across from Walmart on the Atlanta Highway.
Rich Thomas weather.
Well, hi, everybody. It's a wet forecast at times today, but really most of the Labor Day weekend, the news is pretty good. Today's high temperature held down by clouds and showers to the mid-80s. Scattered to numerous showers and storms just about any time, but really especially in the afternoon and evening hours, and then fading out overnight tonight. Low temperature down to about 70. Now, tomorrow, storms will just be widely scattered in nature. Of course, a lot of home football games in the state tomorrow. High temperature up to about 86. Then on Sunday and Labor Day Monday, we should be dry, mostly sunny. Highs 90 to 92, lows at night in the mid-60s. From the Blue Water Weather Center, this is Rich Thomas.
ASE Credit Union makes auto loans easy with rates as low as 4.75% APR. Apply online or visit your local branch today. Federally insured by the NCUA, Equal Opportunity Lender.
ASE Credit Union. Your life, your goals, your ASE.
This October, we're kicking off spooky season with our Truck or Treat giveaway at Wind Creek, Wetumpka, where you could win a new Ford F-150. Come play throughout September and October to earn entries. Then starting at 5 p.m. on Saturday, October 28th, we'll have drawings every 30 minutes for free play, cash, and a chance to win the ultimate tough-built vehicle, a new Ford F-150. Escape every day at Wind Creek Casino and on the Casinoverse app.
Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Live, local talk. The River Region's most trusted voice for news and opinion. News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
Good idea.
Yeah, it is, I think, a good idea. I think we should do that. Oh, hey, welcome back, everybody. We're trying to plan our takeover of the world. Actually, tell your friends about the live stream. We're trying to make this,
definitely
something of a big deal. But a lot of activity in the comment section. I appreciate it. Oh, smart. Oh, that's why they look at you weird. Thanks, Eric the dog. Georgia Bulldog. I didn't, at first I thought he was like, Eric the dog, hola. And then I find out he's a Georgia fan.
Yeah, he's a dog fan.
I'm like, figures.
Don't hold it against him.
But I guess he was listening when you were talking about sticking knives and butter knives in the socket there in Chisholm and plastic knives, right? That's what Eric was asking.
You can do that if you want, but
that wouldn't have the same.
Not as electrifying.
And Patriot Czar, who is a very loyal follower on Twitter, appreciate that, sir. But he's commented on the YouTube. You taken off my birthday, Joe? Yes. Is your birthday Labor Day? Happy birthday, man. I'm taking a day.
Really?
I need a day.
You're really going to take off?
Yeah, aren't you?
No, I'll be working.
You're always working. Look at this guy. You got a few years on him, Scott. You got any advice for him to relax?
I don't know. It's maybe hopeless. Eddie's so wrapped up. He's always doing so many things.
Just like Joey, like you said, you sit around, you watch football, you start feeling guilty.
Mm-hmm.
I literally will have a plan Saturday to do, sit around and do nothing.
Mm-hmm.
And you can ask my wife, man, a couple of hours of sitting, I just start going stir crazy. And there's things I got to do.
Right.
But now when we're on vacation, that's one thing. We're on vacation and I can, I have to go far away. That way there's nothing I can do.
So you've got to figure it out at least.
I try.
Okay.
I try. And I've learned if I don't take on new challenges regularly, I will just stifle.
So we're supposed to be a news show, right?
That's what it says.
It says on the thing.
All right, so let's do a little bit of so-called news, if that's even a real thing these days.
Right.
And let's see what Donald Trump has to say. I think he's going after kind of the Murdochs.
Parting his hair in the middle now?
I love the new look.
Yeah, is that a middle part?
It looks like it just rained real hard on his head.
I don't think it's a middle part, but here, let's listen into the president.
Flock of seagulls.
Fox News and the Wall Street Journal fight me because Murdoch is a globalist. That's right, Rupert Murdoch is a globalist. You don't know that. And I am America first. It's very simple. I put America first. It will always be that way, so get used to it. The Sanctimonious, by the way, is done. He was a Murdoch pick, just like Jeb Bush was a Murdoch pick. How did that work out? Just like Hillary Clinton. Murdoch liked Hillary Clinton, crooked Hillary. And that was another pick of Murdoch. No, we are about America first, and some people don't like that. The Wall Street Journal has totally lost its way. They say anything that happens to come to mind. They pushed the Sanctimonious so hard, and now they're looking for somebody else because he's failed. He's fallen like a rock. He's fallen like a very badly injured bird out of the sky. I just want to thank everybody for the tremendous support you've given me. We're leading in the polls by 50 and 60 points, and we're beating Biden by 5, 6, 7, 11. We have a lot of great polls with Biden.
The best.
The guy can't put two sentences together. How can he win? So thank you all very much.
Thank you, President Trump. He fell from the sky like a badly injured bird.
Like a bird.
I like that.
Yeah. He died like a dog. Al Baghdadi. I don't know if you remember.
I just like how Trump, when he goes these things, it's like he comes in hot. There's no warm-up. I mean, he's coming in hot.
Energy.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. He has no chill.
No.
Putting America first.
There are like times where you're like, not today, Mr.
Right.
President, not today. Oh no, there he goes.
It's happening today.
You know, she had blood coming out of her eyes, but her ears, blood coming out of her wherever.
Yeah.
Like, Mr. President, can we not talk about blood coming out of people?
Well,
He has no filter.
Right.
He
Or if he does.
Yeah, if he has a filter.
Yeah, that thing is broke.
I don't want to go there.
Well, apparently behind the scenes, he's truly unfiltered. He's even folks who dislike him. You see, the rap is that he is very charming. He's very engaging. He is foul mouthed, which I don't mind.
Some of my favorite friends are
The
foul-mouthed.
brash, boorish New Yorker. Yeah, I can
It might be off air. We're foul mouthed. Might be. I don't know.
Some of us retain our professionalism all the time, Joey.
Mhm.
At all times.
I never do.
Well, some of us. Not me in particular, but some of us.
So, can anybody take on Trump at this point? I don't think so.
All you can do is, you can try, but it's you're just going to be a little speed bump in the road that he
It's
can't
Donald
pass
Trump
over.
against the system.
Yeah.
In a fair fight, in a fair election.
Right.
That's no contest.
Now, apparently, we've got a new nickname from Joe Biden. You know, Trump was just saying this guy can't even put a sentence together. How can he win? Well, he won last time, Donnie. But apparently, Joe Biden just gave Secretary Buttigieg, or as Trump says it, Buttigieg.
What's that?
But apparently, this is Biden. This is like holding airlines accountable.
Oh, really? We're going to do that?
Yeah, they are.
Look out.
Right.
Is that happening soon?
It's good news for airlines, I predict.
But this is apparently a new nickname.
That's his nickname for him?
Yeah, well, we'll see. I mean, let's listen into the president. This is, I guess, as Pete Buttigieg has left the podium, and they're doing the whole baton handoff thing.
I got you, the running.
Biden's walking up to the podium. Let's listen in, folks.
Thank you, Secretary Buttigieg.
Hold on. Wait, let's do this again.
Thank you, Secretary Buttigieg.
Well, he's just embracing that agenda very well, isn't he?
The guy who posted that who's laughing after the clip, he speaks for all of us.
Yes, he does.
Secretary Booty Juice.
That could be a good new name for Joey.
Did you see Idiocracy?
Yes, we are living it,
and
man.
that's it, man.
We are living
That
it.
is it. Right
Secretary Booty Juice. Booty Juice.
White House.
That is
I
stripper
love
name?
you.
That's my new energy
Let me
drink
sniff
coming
it.
out later, folks. Booty Juice. This part of the program brought to you by Bath Innovations of Alabama. And folks, if you've been thinking about freshening up that bathroom of yours, I can think of nobody better than Bath Innovations. Just go to bathinnovations.com, and when you start to mix and match, you'll realize, well, the possibilities are endless. Could be you're just looking to fix a discolored sink.
Correct.
Update it, get a new faucet, maybe a new shower head. Could be kind of a one particular thing you're looking for. They've got that there at Bath Innovations. Or maybe you're looking to do a full remodel. Like it's a home you're trying to flip or you're looking to put on the market. And you want to give a fresh new look to that bathroom. Well, Bath Innovations of Alabama is ready to help you in that regard. Could be you're getting up there in years. Can't get around like you used to. You're not as sure-footed as you used to be. And so they can install safety measures like safety railings and anti-slip mats and seats, bathtub to shower or walk-in shower conversions. They've got all this there at Bath Innovations of Alabama, but there's so many options, I can't tell you all of them here on the air. That's why you got to go to bathinnovations.com. And then after you mix and match and you figure out, okay, here's what I want to update my bathroom, then you're going to realize it's not just great product, it's great people and great local people at that. When you stop by 2331 Eastern Boulevard there, and be sure to tell Brad McDowell and the team that you heard about him here on News and Views in the afternoon. More News and Views, second hour beginning soon. You sticking around here, Sky?
Yeah, I
or-
thought I might. If it's
Yeah.
okay.
That's
Good
cool.
deal.
That's cool.
All right. It's Friday.
We'll be right back.
Friday, baby.
Thank you, Secretary Buttigieg.
Broadcasting from the Riverside Chevrolet Master Control Center, this is WACV Cusana, News Talk 93.1 FM. When it's Chevy, it's Riverside.
With SRN News, I'm Rich Thomason. America's employers added 187,000 jobs last month. That was more than many economists were expecting. That's according to the Labor Department's newly released employment report for August. The job gains came in construction, leisure and hospitality, and healthcare. The unemployment rate ticked up a couple of notches. It went from 3.5% in July up to 3.8% last month. Pressing Congress for billions of dollars more in disaster relief funds, President Biden plans to visit storm-ravaged areas of Florida tomorrow. He'll see the damage that was done by hurricane and then tropical storm Idalia. Hawaii launching several investigations into individuals who have allegedly made offers for property in the fire-ravaged town of Lahaina in the midst of the disaster there. Stocks opening higher on Wall Street. This is SRN News.
Let's see, if something costs less, but people are happier with it, that sounds like something to look into, and that's Medi-Share. Maybe you've heard switching to Medi-Share to pay for healthcare can save the typical family $500 a month. And that's huge, but it's also true that people are way more satisfied after making the switch, too. The customer satisfaction rate for Medi-Share is double that of the typical health insurance plan. Double. Medi-Share works. It's been around for more than a quarter century, and members have shared more than $3 billion of each other's bills. People love having telehealth and a huge nationwide PPO network. So, yeah, you can save a ton and like it better. Imagine being happy with how you're taking care of your health care. So if you're self-employed or part of the gig economy, or you just want a plan you're happy with, you can call right now and get a price within 2 minutes. A very, very smart use of 2 minutes. Here's the number you need. 888-SHARE-19. That's 888-SHARE-19. 888-SHARE-19.
The Rich Thomas Weather Network, brought to you by Alabama Wholesale Lumber. Alabama Wholesale Lumber, the best quality building materials in the river region for decades. From common builds to special orders and local delivery. Call Alabama Wholesale Lumber.
Rich Thomas Weather.
Well, hi, everybody. It's a wet forecast at times today, but really most of the Labor Day weekend, the news is pretty good. Today's high temperature held down by clouds and showers to the mid-80s. Scattered to numerous showers and storms just about any time, but really especially in the afternoon and evening hours, and then fading out overnight tonight. Low temperature down to about 70. Now, tomorrow, storms will just be widely scattered in nature. Of course, a lot of home football games in the state tomorrow. High temperature up to about 86. Then on Sunday and Labor Day Monday, we should be dry, mostly sunny. Highs 90 to 92, lows at night in the mid-60s. From the Blue Water Weather Center, this is Rich Thomas.
The MVP on a football field may change on any given Saturday, but the MVP in every other field is a Kubota. John Bobo with Capital Tractor. With the #1 selling compact tractor in America, Kubota equipment is a game changer. Capital Tractor, Montgomery, Brundage, and Greenville.
1819 News.
Another pause has been placed on issuing business licenses when it comes to the medical marijuana industry that is starting up here in the state. The Alabama Medical Cannabis Commission voted on Thursday for a self-imposed stay on the licensing process. The move comes as a result of multiple lawsuits being filed against the AMCC for the 2 other times that they issued business licenses in the past 4 months. What that means to those businesses who were given a license is that they won't need to pay the licensing fee as of yet. The commission will be in court next Wednesday regarding one of the lawsuits that was filed against them. After that, more steps will be revealed when it comes to the commission and the medical marijuana industry. I'll be back with more Alabama stories after this.
Are you enjoying 1819 News? If so, consider joining 1819 News as a member. As a nonprofit news organization, we depend on the support of Alabamians like you. Memberships start out as little as $5 a month, and you'll get access to exclusive content only offered to our members. You'll be supporting independent journalism done by people who cherish Alabama values. Become a member today by visiting 1819news.com and clicking Become a Member. That's 1819news.com and click Become a Member today.
Police in Baldwin County are searching for a woman regarding the death of her mother. 69-year-old Shirley Smith was found dead at a Foley motel this week. Smith and her adult daughter, Katie, have been living at that hotel for almost a year. A nearby resident called police after hearing an argument between the two women, so police are now searching for Katie Smith for questioning. 2 teens from Selma are charged with capital murder following a shooting that occurred this past Monday night. The clerk at a convenience store in Selma was found shot and killed. Police talked to witnesses and gathered video to determine who those suspects are in the case. The suspects are 17 and 14 years old. I'm Andrea Tice.
For more news affecting Alabamians, go to 1819news.com. And while you're there, subscribe to the daily newsletter.
This hour of news and views is brought to you by our good friends at Alabama Home Mortgage. Alabama Home Mortgage, 567-4223. Visit them on the web at myalabamahomemortgage.com. NMLS number 1586368. An equal housing lender.
You don't have to pay today, tomorrow, or the rest of the year. It's the No Pay Labor Day event at Toyota Montgomery. Now through Monday, take your pick from new Toyotas like Camry, Corolla, RAV4, Highlander, and more. And pay nothing down and no payments till next year, 2024. We're just getting started saving you money. Because when you buy Labor Day weekend, you don't have to pay any interest. Get unprecedented 0% APR financing on new Toyota models. Every payment goes directly to principal, and you don't pay the bank a penny. It's the absolute best time to buy a new Toyota because you don't have to pay. No money down, no payments till 2024, and no interest. All offers absolutely end Labor Day Monday. Get more from your Toyota store. Hurry to the all-new Toyota Montgomery today. Online at toyotamontgomery.com.
$0 down on select new vehicles. 0% APR financing on select new 2023 vehicles. With approved credit through dealer preferred lender with $100,000 financing limit, maximum payment of $1,000 per month through 2024. Plus tax, title, license, and $995 fee. May not be combined with some offers. Ends 9/5/2023.
The views and opinions of the following program are solely those of the host and other contributors. These do not necessarily represent those of Liberty Acquisitions 825, Blue Water Broadcasting, its management, staff, or any advertisers. It's time for Montgomery's conversational radio show. It's news and views on News Talk 93.1 FM. To join the conversation, call 272-9228.
Joey Clark.
Welcome back to News and Views in the afternoon. I'm your host, Joey Clark. Eddie Bader and Sky Mosley in the studio.
How you doing, buddy?
Doing all right. Now, did y'all run across this story of Jaden, the 12-year-old who had the "Don't Tread on Me" thing?
Oh, I know much
Catch
about
the flag.
Yeah,
I've got memes. I've got whatever you want. I got it covered.
Yeah, we'll get to his interview in a second because it's what a kid. We need more kids like that, standing up to people.
Definitely.
And his mom seems great too. Like just backing him up against that
100%,
awful,
buddy.
just that liberal woman.
Yeah.
And just what a nasty woman.
And she's
Yes.
totally incorrect about the
Oh,
history
yeah.
of the flag
Right.
and
The look on her-
everything else.
The look
too.
on her face is golden.
But don't tell her.
Golden.
So nasty. But I want to start again this hour with Tucker Carlson because
All
how we saw how Drudge was celebrating Kremlin propagandists predicting Tucker's going to get assassinated.
Okay. What's wrong?
Yeah.
Okay.
So here is Tucker. Hopefully this is clean on Adam Carolla's show.
Oh, good.
And he's talking about how the media operates. So let's bring this up on the live stream here. Again, folks, go to YouTube, Joey Clark Live. Phones aren't working, so if you wanted to call, you can always just leave a comment.
Yeah, leave a comment.
Ask a question in the comment section. Joey Clark Live on YouTube. But this is, again, Tucker with Adam Carolla. Let's listen in.
A Wolf Blitzer type because whenever I
take a close look at his history.
Okay, that's where we just, I gotta say, folks, when it comes to Tucker, all you gotta do is just go, Wolf Blitzer. And he just falls into just like, his little laugh he has is just very entertaining, but he's so pleased with himself. Let's listen to, what's the background of Wolf Blitzer, Tucker?
Actually,
I'm always like,
it's
why
very
would he do
interesting.
this? Why would he say a bunch of stuff he doesn't believe or he must know is untrue? Like what? He sat there as this sort of elder statesman of news and just sort of lied right through COVID and many other subjects. Why would he do that? Why would he do it to his legacy?
I worked with Wolf for years, never had a problem with him. It was always nice. No one wants to hear it. I'm sure most people won't believe it, but I can tell you, having lived it for many years, it's true. The intel agencies have a big effect on what is broadcast on television and what you see on Facebook and Google as well. I mean, they're all up and down Facebook and Google, as I'm sure you know. And, there are a lot of anchors who, including people I know well and have worked with at different networks. I'm thinking of one in particular, a national security reporter who was just a mouthpiece for the Pentagon and the CIA and is knowingly telling lies on their behalf. It's very, very common, very common. And I can think of a number of people at CNN who I know for a fact are doing that exact thing. And so, I mean, they're reading government propaganda from the intel agencies knowingly. And I'm sure they've got some internal rationale that allows them to get up in the morning and face themselves despite having done something that dishonest.
Man, why do people put up with this?
There's a name for it. Prostitutes.
Oh, yes.
Bought and sold whores.
Yeah, Operation Mockingbird is alive and well, essentially.
Yes, sir.
And, but I mean, like, people who watch this stuff. Like, especially when, it's one thing if you're just dumb and whatever. You're just dumb. And there's a lot of dumb people on both sides. There's a lot of dumb people out there, folks. It's like, your vote counts just as much, and you got a right to vote, but you so dumb.
I'm not as dumb as I used to be.
I know.
Since Trump,
right.
aren't as dumb as we used to be. Kind of pull the curtain back a little
right.
bit.
Back
a little bit, yeah.
The uniparty is real.
But if you got something of a brain on you, and you start to see that, there's a pattern here where it seems like these folks are just mouthpieces for the establishment line. I guess I'll watch it. That'll make me a loyal American. Mm-hmm.
That used to be a working formula.
How are you a loyal American if you're loyal to the folks that are incredibly disloyal to the Constitution? Because the First Amendment, of course, means the freedom of speech, which, of course, means that secretive, all-powerful intelligence agencies have the right to massage and manipulate how information is put out there to the public. Mm-hmm. They can just buy and sell the mouthpieces, right? How do I get some of that money? Anyway, let's continue this conversation with Tucker and Carolla.
It's a higher cost.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm just telling you, bottom line, I know that is true. I'm not speculating at all. And in particular on the national security stuff, there are very well-known national security reporters, and I'm thinking of one female national security reporter in particular, who just reads lies from the national security state. And it's wildly frustrating. And it would just make me mad. I mean, even if I don't agree with the lies, okay, but even if I did agree with the lies, I would be offended because they're lies. They're lies. Like when CIA and the Pentagon were claiming that Bashar al-Assad used poison gas against his own people. Okay, there was no evidence that was true. I mean, maybe it was true. There was no evidence it was true. None. Zero. And I called them out, and they could not provide any evidence. And yet every national security, and it was a big deal. I mean, we killed a lot of people in response. We sent in missiles and killed a lot of people. We took human life in response to that claim. And it was, as far as I can tell, a lie. And every national security reporter, every channel repeated it uncritically. The Biden administration blew up Nord Stream and, created the largest act of industrial sabotage in history, the largest man-made CO2 emission in history, an environmental crime. This is a huge deal, this happened. And every national security reporter just looked right into the camera and said, well, we think Russia did it. Well, they knew Russia didn't do it. That's a lie. And they knew it was a lie. So I just think, and again, I'm not speculating. I spent my life in this business, so I've seen it. People underestimate the degree to which the people sitting on the news, possibly even Wolf Blitzer, are repeating talking points from the intel agencies and doing it on purpose. It's scary, man. Really.
It really is. Man. 272-9228. But that's the world we live in. So no wonder they get so mouthy when Tucker starts getting mouthy. They're worried about it.
We live in the fourth estate.
Well, and it's almost
the fifth column.
Well, and it's almost like these folks don't govern based on the people's consent. They more make their living and careers off the backs of the people by essentially lying and exploiting people and harming people, manipulating them all the way, even at times to the point of like, well, we don't know about this chemical weapons, but you got to break a few eggs.
No lie.
It's a shame.
Is that how they excuse it?
Hey, folks, we'll call killing random people. We'll just call it collateral damage, and the American people will buy it because Americans only care about Americans getting killed, right?
To a degree. They don't mind the business of war so much until it comes home in a coffin. Okay.
Right. Well, what we need is more children to actually have the spirit of this kid we're going to play here now. This is the Gadsden flag kid. Hey, we need more than just children. We need adults that have this spirit.
A feel-good story at last.
No, I mean, there aren't many of them, Scott. There aren't many of them whatsoever. But this kid is named Jaden. He's 12 years old. You probably have seen the viral videos making the rounds of how his teacher tried to really, stick it to him, saying, "You wearing that Gadsden flag, don't tread on me, no step on snake patch on your backpack. That is just the height of racism."
Yeah. Goes back to the days of slavery.
Right. I mean, can you just inform your child? Excuse me.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah, that's totally her. You nailed her.
Yeah. Like, I would have loved, one of these days, just a nice smack in the face. Not me. Like, woman-on-woman violence, you know what I'm talking about? Like catfight sort of stuff.
Wow.
Now I'm getting excited. All right. Here we go.
Excited. That's what.
Catfight.
Go take a shower.
Catfight.
Okay, so this is Charlie Kirk sitting down with this kid after all the brouhaha
Isn't he about
happened.
11? Is that his age? I think he's 11, 10 or 11.
Yeah, he's 12.
12, okay.
Yeah, Jaden is 12, but here, it's kind of like a jump it in mid-segment.
Want the flag, the reason we do not want the flag that way is due to its origins with slavery and slave trade, because we can't have that in and around other kids.
Yeah, it has nothing to do with slavery. That's like the Revolutionary War patch that was displayed when they were fighting the British. Like that's the revolution. Maybe you're thinking of like the Confederate flag.
Okay, I am here to enforce the policy that was provided by the district, because like I said, we're following district policy, is what we're doing.
So Jaden, I thought that the way that it was handled was really calm and really incredible. What's interesting though is that the school that you attend, the Vanguard School, is a charter school that talks about classical education and teaching American history. It's striking that they would then misrepresent the Gadsden patch as being slavery. You guys had to teach the teachers history. Tell us about that, Jaden.
I mean, yeah, we definitely gave her a history lesson. She also had to ask for my Jaden Rodriguez for vice president for student council. I have this hourglass.
He's showing his
Here,
backpack.
You see, there's the base little outline over here, and then it's the scepter tyrannis. And said, what did that?
Somebody get that kid a good microphone
For
and
real,
internet
man. I
connection.
don't
It's
know
driving
what
me
else to say.
crazy. He's great. I like that. What is that? That
That's
hat?
a tricorner colonial
Yeah,
Revolutionary
hat.
War.
Yeah. Yeah, it looks good on him. But he was showing off his backpack, folks.
Right.
And saying, okay, here's the first thing I was doing for the
School
student
election, right?
elections. Yeah. And Brian Dawson now joining us. Hey, Brian.
How's it going?
Good.
What do you think of this kid?
Chad King in the making. I mean, that's all there is to it. I mean, meme gold too. Like anytime anything happens in the Twitterverse or out there in the media world where you can just continue to make meme after meme after meme of the school marm giving him the stink eye and he's
Right.
just smiling. There's a million things you can do with that one.
Yeah, there are moments, I don't know if y'all experience this in school, but there were moments in school where I'm like, oh, this person is not very smart who claims to be an authority figure.
Yeah.
Figured that out.
And they have very little power over me. Like, you are no longer a leader of this school. Oh, like, you got me, Teach. Okay, let's try to go back to Jaden. Maybe the connection works.
Didn't go viral. They'd probably suspend me because I didn't listen to them. And if anything, yeah, I mean, they're amazing. They'd probably suspend me as well as others. Maybe even expel me. But due to it going viral, if it hadn't had gone viral, then I guess I'd be expelled. Maybe we homeschooling is not bad. It's a
Again, the connection here is awful. But essentially, I think the point he's making is if this had not gone viral, if they'd not gotten this massive public support, he might have gotten expelled.
Right.
Which shows that when you hold their feet to the fire, these folks are not impressive people. I don't know if y'all have seen the close-ups of this teacher, but when you see that's the face of who we're up against,
100%.
why are you so despairing?
Yeah. Well, and look at what's going on with the Marxist lesbians in the libraries too, right? Like that's the whole
That's not a slur.
Yeah, no, that's like it's
self-identified.
That's a thing,
right?
That's a thing. Yeah, no,
like the head of the American Library
Correct.
Association is a self-described Marxist lesbian. I don't know what Das Kapital talked about you engaging in your more sapphic tendencies, but I guess the two go hand in hand.
Yeah, it's really weird, and so. But what's fun to watch, I don't remember which library it started in. I know the one that's obviously at the center of the fight in the state of Alabama is Prattville, right? That one kind of took the cake. You see it in Dothan, you're seeing it in Foley, you're seeing them all over. But one person went into one library and found a bunch of basically pornographic materials that were being put out in front of children in a public space funded by government dollars. They raised a stink, and they realized how overtaken the system is with people who hate us. Right, who are there for the very purpose of stealing our children. That becomes exposed, and then the people who are overseeing those boards, like I don't know, the city council in Prattville, the amount of cowardice that these people have, that they're not willing to just use the authority that they have to just remove this stuff. Well, I don't want to be a book burner. I don't want to worry about the First Amendment. This is pornography in front of children. This is not protected by the First Amendment. We are not like grow a freaking set, right? And so you see the fight begin to take up now. People all over the state of Alabama are going into their libraries and looking, and then they're going to the library boards, and then they're going, and so now there's this huge library fight, and this is what we need. We need to stand up to these people in every place, and everybody thinks it's going to be Donald Trump fixing everything in D.C., and that's how it's going to happen. It's not. It's going to be the boring city council meeting where you have to take the city council to task on what their job is over and over and over again until they do it in every single county, in every single city, in every town in the state.
Well, and it's interesting the critiques that are being thrown towards these parents and others trying to get this out of the libraries, or in many cases, just move it. They're like, we don't have a problem with adults looking at porn. Just put it in the dadgum adult section. And even that
Well, go buy your porn. Go get your porn online. You don't need to go to a freaking public-funded place. You know,
I agree
to get it. But yeah, I see what you're saying.
But
Sorry.
even that was like considered you're just like a Nazi book burner.
Yeah,
and it's like wait, hold on, because I don't want my 6-year-old to pick up a book that's teaching him how to perform oral sex. I'm now a Nazi.
Did you see?
Screw you, buddy.
Yes. Did you see Archibald? He said, you know, go back in history and show me the great piece of art or film that's been done where the person censoring was the good guy. And so my response was like, go back in time, and look at any piece of art or film where the guy putting sexual materials in front of children was the good guy.
Right.
Like, what are we even talking about, right? And so
it's not a comparison.
It's one thing to censor and ban ideas. It's another thing to censor and ban things that, like, there's a reason that my 6-year-old can't walk into the XXX store over there in Prattville, right? And right. So these are things that have always been. We're not moving the lines. They're trying to move the lines, and then they're trying to make us look like the crazy people. I will tell you, I've had certain things that have just, like, I don't know if you would call it re-energized or what. After I did that podcast with James Lindsay, I'm never coming back after that.
Oh, James will open your eyes to some stuff, and he's got the receipts, he's got the proof. It's not just some conspiracy theory. By the way, Vivek just dropped a term. There are a lot of conspiracy realists in this country.
Yeah.
It's not just theories. And well, one thing James showed me is he showed me how he was talking about UNESCO and how the UN standards are being pushed out all over the world for how to educate your kids. And one of the things they're trying to push now in sex ed. Now, this isn't sex anatomy, which they had my mother come teach it to us at Catholic school. It's a whole other story. But it was a basic.
So much. I'm with Eddie.
Right. Well, one of my favorite plays is Oedipus Rex. So, but that was basic. Like, this is anatomy. She wasn't talking about like putting a condom on, which has also been in public schools. Yeah. But the sex ed they're talking about now isn't even like prophylactics and hygiene and anatomy. They're talking about pleasure-based sex education. What the heck is that? And you see that and go, this can't be happening. A story drops, it's, I think, in Germany, right in the heart of Western Civ, where, kids as early as kindergarten, first grade, are being taught how to enjoy themselves, so to speak.
I didn't know what a dental dam was. I still don't. Didn't even know that was a thing until I saw it in children's curriculum. Right,
Whoa.
like doing this stuff, and I'm like, "What the heck is this?" And Craig's just looking at me, shaking his head. I don't want to know.
Right.
Well,
I don't want to know, but
like
apparently the kids know.
Well, and then you see the examples, and again, I don't think this. I think the average person is just oblivious to this.
Yeah.
They're not thinking it through. They're not seeing it, and their kids aren't getting caught up with it. But there are too many kids already being caught up in this stuff, and it's growing too.
Yeah.
Like you can see people are pushing the envelope. For instance, here's a tweet that went viral saying from Reverend Dr. Jackie Lewis. So she's a reverend.
She's a reverend doctor.
A reverend doctor.
Dr. Reverend.
You know, I'm not. I got in a conversation earlier this week, Brian, with a guy saying, you know, with Vivek being Hindu, I thought this was a Christian nation, and he's like, "Wouldn't you, so Joey, you'd vote for the devil?" I'm like, "Well, if I was the devil, I'd present myself as a Christian."
Yeah.
Like that would be number one.
That has been the challenge we've been
Right.
faced with, and that's why everyone went nuts for Donald Trump.
Right.
Sure, he might go down to the Humane Society and grab some little cats, you know, here and there, as Joey likes to
Right,
put.
right.
But you had Mitt Romney and John McCain and all these other people that were presented as though they were freaking John the Baptist and
Right.
they were scumbags.
Right.
And so we've been lied to by devils calling themselves Christians for so long that we'd rather go to someone who's actually going to fight for Christians, even if he may not represent us very well.
So the tweet here from the Reverend Dr. Jackie Lewis is this, quote, "Parents do not own their children. Kids are people, not things. They," I guess she means children, "have a right to privacy about their sexuality and gender identity, to choose when and to whom they share those intimate details about their life." Again, parents do not own their children. Kids are people, not things. They have a right to privacy about their sexuality and gender identity. So don't tell your mom or dad about that thing you told me. Like, you can confide in me. And of course, one of my favorites, Michael Malice, right underneath this, I believe, said, "You are a literal demon." And I think my comment on this is, I don't think this is what Jesus meant by "love the little children."
Yeah, no.
Yeah, I don't think that's what that song was all about.
Yeah.
That's crazy. That is crazy thinking.
But Joe Biden has said the same thing. And he's like, you know, I mean, if sniffing children made you a pedophile, he'd be like past Michael Jackson, right? So,
well, and I don't have kids, and so, you know, it's hypothetical for me, but I've always thought, like, yeah, you want to look out for your kid, make sure they're not getting anything bad or engaging in terrible behavior, but you also probably shouldn't be like inspecting every aspect of their sexuality as they're becoming teenagers. Like, kind of let your kid discover what they need to do, and then you put guardrails around it.
Yeah.
So if you're going to be a parent, and I think that's pretty sound advice, it sure as hell applies to a teacher.
Yeah.
Like, who are you counseling my child on their sexuality?
And that was the whole SEL talk that James gave about, you know, because even the most vigilant of parents in the public school system, and I know a lot of them, they go through all the curriculum, they read all the books, but in social emotional learning, this is all funded by the UN and everything else. And again, I'm not here to pump my podcast. Most important podcast I've ever done, most important piece of content that's ever came out of 1819 News since our inception, and that's saying something. I think we've done a lot of really great things, is this latest podcast I did with James Lindsay. It's out on all the podcasting platforms right now, should be the most recent one. But social emotional learning is how they teach, train teachers to teach in such a way as you can take standard issue curriculum, like I think that the example that he gave was, you know, Johnny is on the way to an amusement park with his mom and his dad, and it's 50 miles. They've driven 30. How many miles are left? And so it's a word problem that you would say 20.
20
right?
miles.
But then the teacher goes, and so if you're the parent and you're reading that curriculum, there's nothing innocuous or weird or strange about that. So you just pass over it. Well, how they teach it is, you know, you go in there and say, how many of you have been to an amusement park? And, you know, half the kids raise their hand, half the kids don't. And then they go into wealth gap, like, you know, and like that. And then, oh, well, he has a mommy and daddy. Does everyone in here have a mommy and daddy? Well, no, I just have mom. I have two moms, right? And then you can basically structure going and teaching curriculum in such a way to where you can bring up race issues, wealth gaps, feminism, homosexuality. All of this stuff can be taught from an innocuous word problem.
Yeah.
And that's how the teachers are being trained to do it. So even if you are the most vigilant of parent and you're combing through every single homework assignment in every single book, which you will still catch stuff because they are still so bold and emblazoned as to put critical race theory, gender pronouns, and all this stuff in the curriculum, because we've been, you know, exposing that since we started. They will do that, and you need to be vigilant for that, but know that it's beyond the curriculum. It's how they're teaching innocuous basic curriculum, and even using that to introduce critical race theory and cultural Marxism into your children's lives.
And again, to underline this, like, I can imagine a 16-year-old, a 17-year-old, an 18-year-old. In high school, you start to be presented more adult material, especially if you start reading classic literature and all that. Like, okay, but this is not 16, 17, 18-year-olds. This is often 8-year-olds, if not younger. This is wrong.
Yeah.
And I mean, Eddie, like, if your kid was put through school and, like, the school you put him in, you found out this was going on, what would you do?
Take him right out.
We used to call those people
That's putting it
that
nicely.
introduce children
Yeah,
to
I mean-
sexuality at that young of an age perverts.
And pedophiles.
And pedophiles. And that's how we dealt with them.
Yeah.
Right.
That's the limit, man. That's the hill, right?
Yeah, and the if you can say silver lining, I definitely want to say the beauty of it, but they always overplay their hand. Okay,
Yes.
and what we're seeing now, there's two places where people respond, and we've noticed as we're curating content at 1819 News, the one place that resonates when you start messing with people's children and their pocketbooks.
Yep.
Right, but specifically their children, and they're going too far here.
272-9228. I got to hit this break here. But first, this part of the program brought to you by Alabama Home Mortgage. And there at Alabama Home Mortgage, Kim Williams and her team, including the lovely and talented Madeline, well, they can help you whether you're looking to buy. Could be your first time buying. It could be you've done this before, but you want to work with people you can actually get to know, people you can trust here locally. And that is Alabama Home Mortgage. They can walk you every step of the way, from pre-approval all the way to closing day. You know, we were talking about earlier with River Region Contracting, sometimes people buy a house real quick and they don't get the inspections done. They skip over a lot of steps, but that's not going to happen if you work with Kim.
No, not at all. One of the great things about them is, again, I like to take first-time home buyers to them because they not only take them through the loan buying process, but they also give them little tips along the way, like don't buy a house without getting an inspection.
Right.
Those are very important steps. And you know, I work with them every chance I get, and I've never had, and it's happened to me in other times at other lending institutions where a client has come to me and say, hey, do you got anybody else? I've never had that happen when I recommend Kim or Madeline.
And of course, it's not just the home buying. They can also help you with a great refinance deal if you've got a mountain of debt on your back.
Yeah, buddy.
Especially that credit card debt with those 20-something percentage
no,
rates,
thank you.
interest rates. Ugh. You're stuck, literally. But you're not. If you have value built up in your home, you can get a great refinance deal done there at Alabama Home Mortgage. So check them out today. 567-4223. That's 567-4223. You can also visit them on the web at myalabamahomemortgage.com. There is a difference in mortgage companies. Like Kim and Madeline prove that to you today. NMLS number 1586368. An equal housing lender. More news and views in the afternoon when we come back.
Joey Clark.
He may not know whether he's coming or going, but whether you're going to work or coming home, Greg Budell is there. Mornings, 6 till 9, and afternoons, 3 till 6. Only on News Talk 93.1 FM, WACV.
Hi, this is Bo Goodson from the Bo Goodson Real Estate School. The kids are going back to school. How about the parents? Our new classes for pre-license begin September 14th, right around the corner. Every Thursday night from 6 to 9 p.m., we teach about contracts, negotiation, agency, pricing a home to sell, how to make money buying investment property, in all over 20 different real estate topics. Start your new career with us. If you've been thinking about getting into the real estate business, here's where you start. Begin now with the best. Interactive classes, no video, open forum. We also offer couples discount and a military discount or first responder discount. How about starting your new career now? Sit in for the first night and see how you like it before you go forward. For all the information, call Bo Goodson at 221-2883, Bo Goodson Real Estate School.
Ram, $6,000 dealer discount, $5,000 factory rebates, $1,000 factory loyalty rebate. Gladiator, $2,000 dealer discount, $2,000 factory rebate. Offers plus tax, title, and $6.99 doc fee with approved credit. Ends September 5th. Volume claim from 2021 and 2022 factory sales reports.
The Labor Day sales event is on at Stivers Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram in Prattville. Alabama's #1 volume Ram dealer 2 years running has new 2023 Ram 1500s up to $12,000 off MSRP or 2.9% APR financing for 72 months plus no payments for 90 days. And new 2023 Jeep Gladiators with employee pricing plus an additional $4,000 off MSRP. Just think of how much you'll save at Stivers. With new Rams at $12,000 off or 2.9% for 6 years with no payments for 90 days. And new Gladiators with employee pricing plus an additional $4,000 off. But it all ends Monday, so don't wait. Hurry in now to Alabama's #1 volume Ram dealer 2 years running.
Stivers Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram, where Price sells new cars and trucks in Prattville.
Sweetheart?
Yeah?
I've been thinking, I'm tired of this house.
What? You want to move?
Yeah, but we'd have to do some updating, to get top dollar.
Updating really does make a lot of sense, especially when you're talking about lighting. That's where Crosby Electric comes in. They'll help you choose a stunning pendant fixture over your bathroom sink, dramatic flush mount lighting over your kitchen island, maybe some LED panels to backlight your countertops. Energy-saving LED lighting has really come down in price. Or how about a new ceiling fan that moves air more efficiently than fans built only 10 years ago? The bottom line, updating your lighting almost always delivers a full return on your investment.
Well, sweetheart, the house looks fabulous.
Yeah.
Guess I'll put out the for sale sign.
Wait.
What?
I don't wanna move.
Find out how to turn your house into the home you'll never want to leave. Visit crosbyelectric.com or call 272-2085.
Are you tired of the mainstream media's biased reporting? Do you want to stay informed on the news that really matters to you? Look no further than 1819 News. At 1819 News, we bring you the latest in Alabama news, politics, sports, culture, and more. We've assembled a team of journalists with Alabama values dedicated to the truth and the truth alone. Visit us at 1819news.com today. That's 1819news.com. Subscribe to our newsletter. Honest News, Alabama Values.
The Health and Wealth Show. The Health and Wealth Show. The show so nice, we said it twice. Weekday evenings at 6 on News Talk 93.1 WACV. The Health.
Break it up, son. Joke's over, hey?
This hour of News and Views is brought to you by our good friends at Alabama Home Mortgage. Alabama Home Mortgage, 567-4223. Visit them on the web at myalabamahomemortgage.com. NMLS number 1586368. An equal housing lender.
You don't have to pay today, tomorrow, or the rest of the year. It's the No Pay Labor Day event at Toyota Montgomery. Now through Monday, take your pick from new Toyotas like Camry, Corolla, RAV4, Highlander, and more. And pay nothing down and no payments till next year, 2024. We're just getting started saving you money. Because when you buy Labor Day weekend, you don't have to pay any interest. Get unprecedented 0% APR financing on new Toyota models. Every payment goes directly to principal, and you don't pay the bank a penny. It's the absolute best time to buy a new Toyota because you don't have to pay. No money down, no payments till 2024, and no interest. All offers absolutely end Labor Day Monday. Get more from your Toyota store. Hurry to the all-new Toyota Montgomery today. Online at toyotamontgomery.com.
$0 down on select new vehicles. 0% APR financing on select new 2023 vehicles. With approved credit through dealer preferred lender with $100,000 financing limit, maximum payment of $1,000 per month through 2024. Plus tax, title, license, and $995 doc fee. May not be combined with some offers. Ends 9/5/2023.
This hour of News and Views is brought to you by our good friends at Alabama Home Mortgage. Alabama Home Mortgage, 567-4223. Visit them on the web at myalabamahomemortgage.com. NMLS number 1586368. An equal housing lender.
Rich Thomas weather brought to you by Wiley Sanders Truck Lines. Truckers, if you are looking for green grass, contact Wiley Sanders Truck Lines. In business since 1959 and still growing. Call today, 855-777-9785.
Rich Thomas weather.
Well, hi, everybody. It's a wet forecast at times today, but really most of the Labor Day weekend, the news is pretty good. Today's high temperature held down by clouds and showers to the mid-80s. Scattered to numerous showers and storms just about any time, but really especially in the afternoon and evening hours, and then fading out overnight tonight. Low temperature down to about 70. Now, tomorrow, storms will just be widely scattered in nature. Of course, a lot of home football games in the state tomorrow. High temperature up to about 86. Then on Sunday and Labor Day Monday, we should be dry, mostly sunny. Highs 90 to 92, lows at night in the mid-60s. From the Blue Water Weather Center, this is Rich Thomas.
For the lowest prices around on flooring and DIY flooring installation supplies, Budget Floors & More is your new best friend. Luxury vinyl plank, carpet, ceramic tile, floor installation supplies, and more with prices lower than the big box stores. Budget Floors & More, Hunter Lane across from Del Rey to Publix.
The River Region's News Talk Station. News Talk 93.1, WACV. News Talk 93.1.
Welcome back to News and Views in the afternoon. I'm your host, Joey Clark. Eddie Bader in the house.
How you doing, buddy?
Doing all right, as is Brian Dawson of 1819 News. How you doing, Brian? Tremendous. Oh, sorry, I hit the wrong mic.
Tremendous,
yes. And we had somebody asking on the live stream, on the YouTube live stream. Again, you can go to Joey Clark Live. Please subscribe. This is Lisa. Lisa's saying, hello, where can I go to learn more about the fight for the libraries?
Oh, there you go. Good question.
I mean, you can find the stories on 1819news.com. If you just put in Prattville in the search, it'll pull them up, and there'll be more information. It just depends what market you're in. Prattville. Do you know the name of the group that?
Off the top of my head, no.
Yeah, I don't know. That's terrible. I'm so sorry because they're for sure listening right now.
Well, I said to Jeff Poor earlier this week, are libraries still a thing? Like, I'm in that age group where it's like they don't exist to me anymore.
I'm just trying to think of is there a name of the Prattville Library group that's fighting it with Laura Clark, and I forget the other gal's name. There's a name for it, and I'm sure they have some type of social media presence or whatever. And I think I'm actually part of it. I get so much stuff sent to me that it's hard to keep track of it all.
And if you really want to do a deep dive, Lisa, go to New Discourses. That's James Lindsay's website, and you can learn a lot about the latest of what's going on in education, the different new teaching methods. And James is usually ahead of the curve. So ESG, DEI, they're going to go by the wayside, right? And you're seeing some evidence of that in the news.
Just not
but
fast enough.
They're actually not actually dropping things.
Kind of hide them a little better.
It's now going to be what? Sustainable Development Goals? SDGs. They're going to be all the rage in the next few years. I wonder, do you think there are things called Sustainable Development Offices at Auburn and Alabama?
Yeah.
I assume so.
Yes.
Yeah. And it's interesting. I thought this was a conservative state.
Well, we are.
Well, but if you want to be educated, then you have to go with the latest globalist socialist crap, right?
Correct.
Okay.
And you have to pay like $200,000 to go there to get your certification. It's not an education, it's a certification, it's an accreditation. Education is something that you would do on your own now, apparently. Because that's the whole crux that James was talking about, too, is we've gone from educating, which when you go into classical liberal arts, what is liberal arts? Liberal isn't like we think of liberal today. Liberal means like libertad, it means freedom. So what was the education of the free man? Because you've always had a working class and a ruling class. Well, the ruling class had an education. That's what allowed them to think differently so that they could oversee big operations, big plantations, big whatever. And so it's the way that the free man thinks, and so you get classical literature. It changes the way that you think, and so this was the idea that you would go and get this robust, diverse education that would challenge the way that you think and help you actually just think and process things differently as a free person would. And now it's all about accreditation. You go for job placement. You go get this degree. You get this job at this place. And then all the moms, all they want is to make sure that their kid has a job. So, well, honey, if you go there and you get that degree, you'll have a job and you'll make enough money.
Right.
Well, the whole idea of men when it comes to provision, like we were meant to take dominion, and that requires taking risk, right? And moms don't want to take risks. So the idea of their son going out and going to trade school and learning how to be an HVAC technician and starting their own HVAC business, that is not what moms want to hear.
Right.
They're like, no. You're going to get the certification. You're going to get the accreditation. They've set up the systems to do that, and you pay astronomical amounts of money that the government backs the loan. They loan you way more money than it should cost to get an education to go to an indoctrination center, right? And then that money's backed by the feds, and then the whole thing is just it's mind-boggling. But we're starting to see kind of like when you begin to pull on a sweater and the whole sweater can unravel.
Yep.
We're starting to get our fingers on some of the threads, like with what happened at the University of Alabama with Matt Wyleicki leaving
Yes.
and that nursing student dropping out and saying, hey, this is crazy what they're making us say and do and learn. Has nothing to do with my profession and has everything to do with values that are completely contradictory to my Christian faith. And I'm telling you, when the donors of these massive institutions stop giving to their alma mater because they realize they're giving money to institutions that are actually indoctrinating and teaching things that go absolutely 100% against what they believe, when that moment happens, this all changes. Until then, these guys will continue to send not only their money, but also their children to these institutions, and nothing will change.
Well, and with James Lindsay, just to give folks an example of how this guy thinks, and does so on his feet often. He's walking around with so much information. That story we just covered with Jaden, the 12-year-old who had the Gadsden flag patch. You had a bunch of folks, Moms for Liberty folks, saying, the infamous Don't Tread on Me image is not racist, but it is anti-communist and pro-liberty, and that's the real reason radical woke educators wanted it banned from the public schools. James reacted to that. He's in alliance with Moms for Liberty. That's why the SPLC doesn't like him very much. That and a few other reasons. But here's what James had to say about this Gadsden flag controversy with young Jaden. Quote, the issue is never the issue. The issue is always the revolution. The goal here is to taint an American symbol of liberty among a low-information target audience, so they'll do struggle sessions related to it, damaging families and communities.
And it's not just the Gadsden flag. You remember Ted Cruz? Again, I hate the whole political theater that goes on in those Senate committee hearings and stuff.
But sometimes the play's good. The theater's good.
But sometimes the theater's good, right? And it's worth watching. And so Ted Cruz was grilling the FBI director about them saying that these symbols were symbols of radical domestic terrorists, and he goes into the Gadsden flag. And then he goes into the American flag with the 13 stars, the old Betsy Ross, right? And going into those things, and he says, what about Molon Labe? And you're like, well, yeah, that's a terrorist flag. And he pulls his freaking boot off, and he says, you see that on my boot right there? It says Molon Labe, right on Ted Cruz's cowboy boot.
Come and take it.
Come and take it, baby. But yeah, no, and he's exactly right. And I'm just telling you guys right now, I think Eric the dog asked me this early on when I first started coming on the radio. He was like, where did you learn to think the way that you think and say the things that you say? The Death of the West by Pat Buchanan.
Good book.
I repeat, The Death of the West by Pat Buchanan. And it is a good cursory overview of the things that James Lindsay does a deep dive on. And that's why I was so floored, because I've been studying this stuff for 13 years. Curtis Bowers is another wonderful person. He did Agenda 1, Agenda, and Agenda 2, these two documentaries that you need to watch on this stuff. Curtis goes really far into it, farther than even I, and I've, again, been studying it for 13 years. Curtis takes it to another level, and then James takes it to another level, right? Yeah. And so that was kind of the thing he was hitting. But The Death of the West by Pat Buchanan, he goes and it goes all the way from words, Joey, words. Can I say them?
Yeah.
Christopher Columbus.
Hey, I know who that guy is.
Right, so we'll go back to Eddie's generation. When Eddie was in school, Christopher Columbus was still an absolute hero.
Yes.
He was a 100% hero. He was a Christian who came over here to take dominion, expand Christ's kingdom, and the glories of that kingdom and the word of God into a new land. Had nothing to do with raping and pillaging and conquistadoring and any of those things. Mm-hmm. And that was the first hero that they went and ruined. And then they went from Christopher Columbus forward, and they've turned every single one of our heroes into some type of slave-owning, bigot, disgusting, vile person. Thomas Jefferson, the only thing he was good for was raping his slaves. And it's like, well, when he was 33 years old, he wrote the Declaration of Independence in just 2 weeks. And when he signed it, he signed his own death warrant. That's pretty awesome. He raped his slaves, right? And so they want to taint, exactly what James is saying, every single thing that gives us a sense of pride about our people and our place here in this country. They want to taint it and make us hate our place. And that's why it's so important to me at 1819 News that we're celebrating the things that are good, true, and beautiful about Alabama, is because we're informing them, and then we want to celebrate, because an informed populace that loves their place is going to fight back against this stupidity.
We agree.
Here. Well, we got to hit another.
Can I say one thing before the break?
Mm-hmm. Say it, baby.
It's nothing, mic droppy. It's the name of the Clean Up Prattville is the name of the group that you can learn up. And Clean Up Alabama is the bigger organization that's doing all the library work. So, Lisa, Clean Up Prattville if you're in Prattville, but overall, Clean Up Alabama is the name of the group in the libraries.
More news and views when we come back.
Want to carry News Talk in your pocket? Download the News Talk 93.1 app from the App Store. Available on iPhone and Android. Never miss a moment. Download now.
Actor Portrayal, based on a real patient experience.
I'm Mike. I'm a husband, proud father of 2, work my butt off 6 days a week, some nights too. When my family or my company needs me to make it happen, I make it happen. But a few months ago, I started having trouble making it happen, in the bedroom. I tried some pills online, but they didn't work. Honestly, I thought about throwing in the towel on my sex life, but I'm not that old. I still want to enjoy intimacy with my wife. Like that poet said, I don't want to just go gently into that good night. So I went to Montgomery Men's Health. I got some lab work and a urologist prescribed me some meds. Wow, it made it happen. I can't say enough good about them. They took care of me, followed up, and made adjustments to make it happen even better. I even learned I had low testosterone, which they were also treating me for. And I have never felt better. If I were you and you're like me, I'd give them a call today at 334-440-3663 or go to MontgomeryMen'sHealth.com. If you like most guys, they'll make it happen for you too.
Next contestant.
Honey, you look confused. What's wrong?
I'm having a hard time remembering to take my medications like I'm supposed to. I didn't say anything because I didn't want to worry you.
I'm glad you told me, because I heard that Adams Drugs has a medicine on time service that will package your monthly medications and make them easier to manage. Our neighbors, Bill and Leslie, mentioned the other day that they use Adams and how they have made it so easy for them to manage their medications.
Do you think we can call Adams Drugs or go by there and see if they can help me? I don't want to get to the point where you have to put me into an assisted living home.
Why don't you get your medications together right now, and let's go down to Adams and talk to the pharmacist.
How much does the medicine on time service cost?
I asked Bill that same question, and he told me it's a free service for Adams customers.
Free? Wow, I'm feeling really good about this already. Let me grab my meds list.
Call Adams Drugs Medicine on Time for your pharmacist consultation. Visit us at adamsdrugs.net for more information on our Medicine on Time packaging service.
Looking for insurance, or maybe you're just not satisfied with your current carrier? How does quality coverage with local service and competitive rates sound to you? The folks at Stark Agency offer just that. Whether you need insurance for your business, car, home, or life, Stark Agency can help. As an independent insurance agency with over 20 of the top insurance carriers, Stark is sure to find the perfect match for you and your loved ones. Visit their site at starkagency.com or give them a call at 334-263-5535 for a quote today.
This hour of news and views is brought to you by our good friends at Alabama Home Mortgage. Alabama Home Mortgage, 567-4223. Visit them on the web at myalabamahomemortgage.com. NMLS number 1586368. An equal housing lender.
Live local talk. The River Region's only 24-hour News Talk FM station. News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
Joey Clark.
Welcome back to News and Views in the afternoon. Oh, actually, Eddie, can you get in touch with...
I can do it.
Yeah, you know who I'm talking about.
Yeah, man.
But the story I noticed on 1819 News this morning is Vivek making y'all's pages, Brian. Oh, yeah, well, we can't, right. We can't get... Because the phones aren't working.
The phones aren't working, but yeah, I'll pick it up and try to dial out. So. Thank you, Joey.
It's great. No, that's what...
I mean, yeah, I was all, hey, what's up? I was just going to tell you, hey, the phones ain't working.
Yeah, that comes.
Newsflash.
Yeah.
But, yeah, Vivek making y'all's front page there, Brian. 2024 candidate Vivek Ramaswamy thanks Tuberville for his courageous stance on military nomination holds. The more I watch this guy, and folks are saying he's a globalist plan, I'm like, the corporate media doesn't seem to be acting that way.
Right. So, again, I love General Michael Flynn, but General Michael Flynn was, and again, to me, Vivek's not running for president, he's running for vice president now. Okay, that's what he's doing, and it's going to be between him and Kerry Lake or Byron Donaldson. I think those are going to be the three choices. But it's so funny because we still, knowing how broken our processes are in our historic way of thinking, and how picking presidents and how, Mitt Romney and John McCain and Bob Dole and George Bush, these were just American conservative heroes, and we look at them and they're actually just not at all, right? And I think Trump came in and railroaded that process, but he's on there and he goes, look, Vivek, donated to a Democrat or something, or like something that was just, that it used to would have been a huge red flag.
Yeah.
But the guy who everyone has rallied around and completely destroyed politics as we know it used to be a New York Democrat that gave to Planned Parenthood. So we can't use these historic things, or he gave to a this, or he came from a that. What has happened is that people from all walks of life have come to the realization that both parties hate their guts. And so you see an RFK rising in the Democrat Party, and you see people like Vivek and others doing what they're doing in the Republican Party. And basically, it's like I don't think you can fake the funk on, I guess, being super based, and
right.
That's not something that you can pretend to be passionate about these things. I mean, I guess if you were just a full bore actor and that was your job, but Matt Damon had to go study roughnecks out in the oil fields for a year and a half before he could pretend to be one.
Right.
It's not an easy thing to pretend to be. It's something that it's just either in your blood and in your DNA, and it's resonating, and you're saying the right things, and it's flowing off your tongue because it's in your spirit and in your mind and your heart and your soul and your bones, which I see it in Vivek. Or you have talking points that sound really stupid, like all the neocons that are trying to resonate.
Oh my goodness! And I need to just stop it on Twitter, because every time Nikki Haley posts about foreign policy and Vivek, I just put the comment, "Stop lying, Nikki."
Yeah.
I like that.
Stop lying. There are serious. I think there's stuff Vivek's presented that could be argued against, and it would be fascinating to watch smart people argue about a very important issue. But that's not what we get during election years, folks. We get Nikki Haley saying, mouse, if you change foreign policy at all, the mouse is going to get us. America's complex of fear and vaunting. I think I've told you about this before, Brian. A guy named Garrett came up with this idea. But America's complex of fear and vaunting. In one breath, out of one side of our mouth, we're like, we're the greatest. We're the best. Nobody could ever mess with us. Nobody could ever stop us. That's the vaunting. And then all of a sudden it's like, ew, mouse! We're very insecure. Ah!
Yeah.
And what it leads to is this, I think, global mission creep that doesn't serve the American people well. I think I began the show today, Eddie, by saying, stop trying to milk me and my fellow citizens. It's not, our resources, our lives are not for you to use as cannon fodder. Excuse me, pardon me.
Yeah.
But the establishment has learned, Brian, like Nikki Haley, as long as you say no boots on the ground, then the American people are so dumb they'll buy it.
Drones in the air.
Yeah. Right.
Boots in the ground, drones in the air.
Now, what about those special forces guys? Well, that's not. They don't have
those
boots.
Aren't boots. They wear ninja slippers.
Right, exactly. Yeah, and the advisors wear Crocs.
Yeah.
Right.
Best shoe out there.
Oh my. Really?
Yeah.
I forgot
They
who
come
I
with
work
four-wheel drive. Optional.
By the way, is it a bad thing that just 12% of Americans, mostly men, are eating about half of the nation's beef supply?
Who's eating the other half?
I guess everybody else.
The women's?
Yeah, I mean, it's like, well, what are the other options? Men are eating half of the meat and women the other. Well, that's freaking riveting.
Well, 12% of Americans, mostly men, are eating half the meat.
Well, I'm in that 12%.
Oh, yeah, me too.
Yeah.
I'm not going to apologize for it. We'll be right back.
Broadcasting from the Riverside Chevrolet Master Control Center, this is WACV Cusana, News Talk 93.1 FM. When it's Chevy, it's Riverside.
With SRN News, I'm Rich Thomason. America's employers added 187,000 jobs last month. That was more than many economists were expecting. That's according to the Labor Department's newly released employment report for August. The job gains came in construction, leisure and hospitality, and healthcare. The unemployment rate ticked up a couple of notches. It went from 3.5% in July up to 3.8% last month. Pressing Congress for billions of dollars more in disaster relief funds, President Biden plans to visit storm-ravaged areas of Florida tomorrow. He'll see the damage that was done by hurricane and then tropical storm Idalia. Hawaii launching several investigations into individuals who have allegedly made offers for property in the fire-ravaged town of Lahaina in the midst of the disaster there. Stocks opening higher on Wall Street. This is SRN News.
Let's see, if something costs less, but people are happier with it, that sounds like something to look into, and that's Medi-Share. Maybe you've heard switching to Medi-Share to pay for healthcare can save the typical family $500 a month. And that's huge, but it's also true that people are way more satisfied after making the switch, too. The customer satisfaction rate for Medi-Share is double that of the typical health insurance plan. Double. Medi-Share works. It's been around for more than a quarter century, and members have shared more than $3 billion of each other's bills. People love having telehealth and a huge nationwide PPO network. So, yeah, you can save a ton and like it better. Imagine being happy with how you're taking care of your health care. So if you're self-employed or part of the gig economy, or you just want a plan you're happy with, you can call right now and get a price within 2 minutes. A very, very smart use of 2 minutes. Here's the number you need. 888-SHARE-19. That's 888-SHARE-19. 888-SHARE-19.
Rich Thomas weather brought to you by Wiley Sanders Truck Lines. Truckers, if you are looking for green grass, contact Wiley Sanders Truck Lines. In business since 1959 and still growing. Call today, 855-777-9785.
Rich Thomas weather.
Well, hi, everybody. It's a wet forecast at times today, but really most of the Labor Day weekend, the news is pretty good. Today's high temperature held down by clouds and showers to the mid-80s. Scattered to numerous showers and storms just about any time, but really especially in the afternoon and evening hours, and then fading out overnight tonight. Low temperature down to about 70. Now, tomorrow, storms will just be widely scattered in nature. Of course, a lot of home football games in the state tomorrow. High temperature up to about 86. Then on Sunday and Labor Day Monday, we should be dry, mostly sunny. Highs 90 to 92, lows at night in the mid-60s. From the Blue Water Weather Center, this is Rich Thomas.
Web Bobo with Capital Tractor. The weather's always changing. Hot as blazes 1 minute, raining cats and dogs the next. What doesn't change is the dependability of Kubota's L-Series compact tractors to handle it all. Kubota and Capital Tractor in Montgomery, Brundage, and Greenville.
1819 News.
The assistant to a state lawmaker is now facing charges for stealing from the state. 53-year-old Vari Kindle is accused of money laundering and conspiracy to commit wire and mail fraud with $200,000 that was part of state grant money to Jefferson County. Kindle is the assistant to State Representative John Rogers. Earlier this year, State Representative Fred Plump Jr. had to step down from his office after he was indicted for similar charges. In Plump Jr.'s case, it was grant money intended to assist a community sports league in Jefferson County. Both Kindle and Plump were accused of skimming off money from the Jefferson County Service Fund. I'll be back with more Alabama stories after this.
Are you enjoying 1819 News? If so, consider joining 1819 News as a member. As a nonprofit news organization, we depend on the support of Alabamians like you. Memberships start out as little as $5 a month, and you'll get access to exclusive content only offered to our members. You'll be supporting independent journalism done by people who cherish Alabama values. Become a member today by visiting 1819news.com and clicking Become a Member. That's 1819news.com and click Become a Member today.
An inmate at the Morgan County Jail is facing additional charges for biting a corrections officer. 39-year-old Miles Batson of Virginia was first arrested for public intoxication. Authorities say that Batson bit an officer's thumb while in custody. Batson now has additional assault charges. Closing arguments are being delivered today in the trial of a Jefferson County man accused of being a serial rapist. Jonathan Lockett faces 11 charges involving rape, sexual torture, and sodomy. Prosecutors dropped one charge against Lockett due to one of the victims' testimony. Lockett did not deny his sexual involvement with these victims, but claimed it was consensual, and in some cases, the women were prostitutes and thereby paid for certain sex acts. I'm Andrea Tice.
For more news affecting Alabamians, go to 1819news.com. And while you're there, subscribe to the daily newsletter.
This hour of News and Views is brought to you by our good friends at Cole Plumbing, 279-8919. Cole Plumbing is number one in the number two business. You don't have to dig a hole. They have proprietary pipelining technology. Ask them about their tankless water heaters. Remember, when you have trouble with your bowl, call on Cole.
Time out. It's time to call Carroll's Carpet Flooring America and freshen up for game day.
Make your home the preferred destination for game day Saturdays. They have top-of-the-line hardwood, carpet, laminate, tile, and luxury vinyl. They have everything you need. They also have interest-free financing. Don't forget, the holidays are right around the corner. You can go online and use the room visualizer, or go to the showroom and let them show you how your new flooring will look. CarrollsCarpetMontgomery.com, or visit their Montgomery or Prattville showrooms.
The views and opinions of the following program are solely those of the host and other contributors. These do not necessarily represent those of Liberty Acquisitions 825, Blue Water Broadcasting, its management, staff, or any advertisers. It's time for Montgomery's conversational radio show. It's News and Views on News Talk 93.1 FM. To join the conversation, call 272-9228.
Joey Clark.
Welcome back to News and Views in the afternoon. I'm your host, Joey Clark. Eddie Bader in the house.
In the house.
As is Brian Dawson, the founder of 1819 News. And off air, we continuing the conversation about Vivek Ramaswamy. It's at 1819 News today that Vivek was really taking this to task, this guy who is going to be the new head of the Joint Chiefs. He's going to replace Mark Milley, C.Q. Brown. And this is what Vivek wrote. Under General C.Q. Brown's leadership, the Air Force is trying to reduce white male pilots from 86% of flyers down to 43% amidst a major recruiting crisis. Increasing racial discord will not help and will further degrade the mission, success, and safety of the brave men and women who serve this nation, Ramaswamy. Again, this is on Twitter. As Commander-in-Chief, a president's job is to keep our homeland safe and keep the men and women who defend it safe too. We need a chairman who will make national defense about defending Americans again. I urge the U.S. Senate to reject General Brown's nomination. Not only should he not be promoted, his record shows he should be fired. I called Senator Tuberville earlier to thank him for his courageous stance on this issue. And again, I don't think Tuberville's budging anytime soon. From this report, it was the Washington Examiner looked at a WPA intelligence poll. So that 45% of registered voters support Tuberville's stance in the state of Alabama, to 33% who support the Biden administration's policy. The poll found that 52% of registered voters support Tuberville overall.
Wow. I mean, it's and I can tell you. So I went to Colorado for a couple weeks on vacation, and it's Colorado Springs, Colorado is a very military-heavy town, right?
Yeah, that's where the Space Force headquarters is right now. Yeah.
Right. And so the way they portrayed him on the news, they might as well have put horns and a tail and a pitchfork in his hand as they were talking about him on the news. It was unreal how hard they were going after Coach, right? And so that he's the amount of pressure he's under. It's not what Trump's gone through. But it's close, and that's why at the Trump event he got a standing ovation that lasted like 2 minutes, right? Because he's willing to make a stand.
Yeah, and I appreciate Coach doing that, and I appreciate Vivek Ramaswamy giving him credit for that because, well, we need more folks that are actually standing up and taking on this establishment and all these established interests. And to me, the guy who best speaks to me, maybe it's my age. Maybe it's just I'm a millennial and he's a millennial, but Vivek Ramaswamy continues to be the guy I'm like, man, I rarely find a candidate that is saying all the stuff I've been thinking and talking about for so long. But Brian, the question came up, I believe it was Mike the Trucker called us, Eddie. He was talking about, well, Vivek, he's got the funny name and he's not a Christian. He's a
vegetarian.
He's a vegetarian. He's Hindu. Maybe I could find a Vivek video came out of him doing a town hall in Iowa, and one of the first questions is like, do you want to make everybody like a vegetarian or whatever? And his answer to the guy is great, and they end up hugging. And Yeah, he goes, actually, my point in the Wall Street Journal thing they're citing was to say that I didn't force my point of view on all my employees as a CEO, and certainly as president, I would never do that.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, I want to make life easier for farmers, even, those eating meat. So that was fantastic. But this idea of, because Vivek Ramaswamy is Hindu, how could he lead a so-called Christian nation?
Sure. So I'm going to do some term defining, and then we'll jump into it. And so I self-identify as a Christian nationalist, okay? And now that can be dangerous because terms are not defined. And so you'll take some, neo-Confederate, pipe bomber or something that calls himself one, and then that label. And so when I was with James Lindsay, he's very adamantly opposed on social media against Christian nationalism. And I assumed that it was nuances and definitions that were the problem, but I didn't know. And so we talked about it, and he doesn't disagree with me on any point of what I say when I say Christian nationalist. The problem is, and again, this is not coming at Michael Flynn. I love him. I think he was taken out of context. And there was a short clip where he's like, get rid of the Bible for a minute and just preach the Constitution or something like that. And it was a clip. It was taken out of context. And again, if someone was really saying, don't use the Bible, use the Constitution, and they've got American flag up in their church and then Lee Greenwood is in their hymnal, that's not what we're talking about. That's not Christian nationalism. Right. So what does Brian Dawson mean when Brian Dawson says he's a Christian nationalist? I mean what I've said on your show since I've started coming in here, that our entire legal system is based off of the general equity of Israel's civil code found in the Old Testament and English common law. And we use William Blackstone very heavily in our understanding of that. And so what that means is that every nation has laws, and those laws belong to a God.
Yes.
And it's not whether they belong to a God, it's which God. Right? And in the beginning of our nation, our God was, the Christian God of the Bible, as evidenced by the fact that we instituted laws that were based on his book. If our God, the Christian God, said this is good, our nation said it's good. If our God says it's bad, our laws said and our nation said it was bad.
Well, and just to jump in here, if you look just at the history of Christianity, but also Judaism, or you could pick other religions too, it often, and the story of the Old Testament is in many ways the story where it's, they come across a city and they have a particular god for that city.
Yep.
And what you find is any laws, it's not like John Locke's state of nature. Any laws in any society will come from religion first. It's not like people sit down rationally and come up with stuff. No, because at the end of the day, there's a lot of stuff. There's some Jonathan Haidt's book about, I'm trying to think of the name of the book. I'm drawing a blank, but his book on moral reasoning. He says that he puts some scenarios down that make people uncomfortable, because you're like, well, why, if a brother slept with his sister and it was only once and they used protection, there's no chance of a child, why is that wrong?
Yeah.
You take out all the practical reasons why incest is bad, and you go, well, why? You still have this visceral reaction, it's wrong. Well, why?
Yeah.
And so you're starting to get into a territory where we're not fully rational creatures by any means, and you need something from on high, and also to listen to your own heart. Meaning can have a big spot in this. And then as these ideas expand, this is the history of Christianity, where you're starting to take on new parts of the world and take on the gods of the town and the city, and this develops into this Enlightenment rationalist thing. And folks who are trying to dispense with that, I think, are really going to upset the basic nature of our laws.
Yeah, and so as a child, your parents tell you certain things about reality that you can't understand, and you can either trust them or you can go headlong against them and suffer the consequences. If God created everything, and I believe that he did, he may know, when he tells us to do something and we're like, well, I don't think that's true, I'm going to use my reason or whatever, and we run into it. And I'll take a ton of heat for this, but I believe that the reason that a nation is not supposed to embrace full-on homosexuality and sexual perversion is because there's no breaks. Okay? And so the Bible is clear that we're not supposed to embrace this lifestyle. We're not supposed to hug it and wrap our arms around it and say that all judges should make these official weddings orders. Is my position. And the moment that we did, we hit that slippery slope where there's no breaks. And now we're seeing something that, how do you put this back in Pandora's box? And it's because we didn't listen and we didn't do what God said to do when it comes to these things. And there's different positions on what we should do. Do we go Old Testament with it? I don't think so. Right. I think it's just overall we can't embrace this and call it good, right, as a nation. And so that's overall what we've been doing is we've been taking all these things that God said, it's almost a direct inverse. If God calls it good, the people in charge now are calling it bad. And if God calls something bad, these people in charge are now calling it good.
Right.
And it is a religious fervor that we're up against. Marxism, secular humanism, whatever you want to call it, it is a religion. It's being foisted upon us through our schools and everything else. And so defining terms, Christian, what do I mean when I say Christian nationalist, Christian nation? It is that our laws, our history, our heritage, our heroes, our everything is Christian.
Yes.
And it was good.
Right.
And as we abandon that, it's become not good. And so with that, can Vivek Ramaswamy, can he be a leader of a Christian nation and get us back to our Christian heritage and our Christian roots? And I would say that I don't know that Donald Trump is a Christian. Right. And Donald Trump has taken the principles of our heritage, which is Christian, and moved us in leaps and bounds to take us back closer to it. And so by the same standard, I would say I don't know. And Trump may be now, but I don't think he was when he ran the first time. So, in one sense, I would much rather someone who I knew was a full-bore Christian who loved his wife and catechized his children and never been divorced and had all these kind of moral stances or whatever. But the people who checked all those boxes before, like you said, they were frauds. They weren't real.
Right.
And so I'm not going to use that box checking system again. At the end of the day, we need someone who's going to acknowledge our history and our heritage and say that it was good.
Right.
Even if you don't buy wholesale into the heart and soul of it and actually be a Christ following, church going, believer who's teaching their children about Jesus, do you acknowledge that this is a Christian nation with a Christian heritage that's rooted in the scriptures, and will you point us back to that because you think it's good?
Well, and also I think in particular now I'm largely ignorant of Hinduism and all the history and ins and outs of the belief system, but I have a sense that Hinduism develops in a very big population area, like very diverse. Talk about tribes in small cities. So Hinduism is kind of a potluck, which, okay, if you're going to have one guy who's of a different religion, that's kind of the religion where you go, oh, that's very accepting. And also the guy went to Catholic school. He was a valedictorian of a Catholic high school. Like the way he talks about it, often in a stump speech, he cites Exodus, where they're lost in the desert and the people are so longing for some meaning and direction. They're like, let us go back and be ruled by the Pharaoh. He's constantly citing these things. And the example I gave to Mike was, what about in the Old Testament, Cyrus the Great, who frees the Jews from Babylon, lets them go back to reconstruct the temple.
Yeah.
And he's hailed as a Messiah, but he's not Jewish. And I mean, it's the outsider, the Good Samaritan's a real thing. I think there is a role for outsiders sometimes to play to help get us back to our center. And then I think there's the political aspect of it. That's the nationalist side. But I think also, and correct me if I'm wrong here, Brian, but the more I learn about Christian history, there is always this fight over what does it mean, right? The ideals are eternal, the revelations are eternal, but man's understanding of it and how that is actually implemented and how people are sliding or backsliding, whatever, that's the constant fight. And when I look at just America right now, well, we just played that tweet where parents don't own their kids, and actually kids are their own people. That was a reverend doctor, ostensibly Christian. And so to me, what I'm bringing up here is I think it's a religious fight, and said these are foreign ideas like secular humanism coming in. There's a lot of that going on. I think it is a denominational one too, where you're fighting over what does it mean to be a Christian these days.
Yeah, and I think that there's good, a lot of people think, oh, Christians are infighting, that's bad, that's a bad witness to the world. Well, no, we're hashing out ideas, because at the end of the day, what you believe has consequences, and we want to kind of more like in the historical agon where we're battling of ideas. Not that we're actually killing each other, right, in the fight.
Right.
So I do think there's value in that. I am definitely not Roman Catholic. However, I do see the value in there being one church, right, as an institution historically. Well, something bad happened in the 1517 area of history, and prior to that led up to there being a split, and I don't know that we ever get that back. But yeah, having all the different denominations and things, it does make it tough. But there is certain things that draw even Catholics to Protestants and, you know, Baptists to Methodists to Presbyterians to whatever. Things like our confessions and my brain, I'm Apostles' Creed, the Nicene Creed, the Apostles' Creed. These are things that everyone can go and say that we believe that Jesus Christ is the Son of God. Jesus Christ is God, right? And on down, going through the Apostles' Creed, we all agree on these things, right? And so that brings unity.
Right, and I think, you get to those basics. And then, when you start, you got the Christian identity, then you got the political identity. And it's, in my mind, when I especially hear your definition of Christian nationalism, I'm not thinking like a theocracy.
Yeah, that's where people always go, and even evangelicals that like push heavy back against the idea of Christian nationalism, or this huge movement that we're seeing right now in evangelicalism. It's not about a theocracy. And so what did Thomas Jefferson mean when he said separation of church and state? The left abuses it horribly, but I don't even think a lot of Christians understand. And so historically, there's three spheres of government that the Bible speaks into: the family, the church, and the state. The entirety of church history, like you go back to the 300s and you go back to Augustine, and all of church history is figuring out who's more preeminent. Is it the church or is it the state? And there's all these stories of the church fighting with the state to see who's preeminent. Well, my understanding where I land is that the family, the church, and the state are actually all equal, and they're all under the lordship of Christ. The church cannot be the state, which means that the state can't hand out communion and tell people who's Christians and who's not, and the church can't go around executing people for breaking the Christian laws, right? And so the state's been given the power of the sword. It has certain rights and responsibilities that it's supposed to do, but it's under the lordship of Christ. So that means if there, you don't take Jesus out of the public sphere because Christ is Lord over the state, but it's separate than the church. Right. So it's not keeping church out of the state. They're right now they're trying to keep God. They're trying to keep Christ out of the state, which is different than keeping church out of the state. Right. If that makes sense. So you have these three spheres, and keeping them separate is what it meant that separating church from state. The United States isn't going to have one denomination that everyone's forced to adhere to.
It's almost like the meta check and balance of the system, where politics doesn't claim to solve all problems, and the church doesn't get its hands dirtied or bloodied by trying to, uphold certain laws in a certain way. And I think it's also fascinating, like one of the guys, I don't know what you think of this guy, but Yoram Hazony, I believe he's been speaking a lot of these national conservatism things. He's Jewish, and he's actually making the case often for Christian nationalism. And his case is essentially that should be the norm. This is what got us to the dance. This is what made this country great. All I ask for as a Jew is like a carve out where I'm free to do what I want, but I'm going to respect the basis of the country, and the basis of the country, part of it is freedom.
In a Christian nation, everyone, for the most part, like there's tremendous freedom. You get inside of these other nations, no one's really free to do anything except what is the orthodox.
Right.
Like, I'm not free to be a Christian inside this new secular humanistic thing. If they had it their way, they would come and lock everybody in my church up. We're not a regime-friendly church.
Right.
And that's another thing. I mean, and you're getting me on a thing where I feel like I'm babbling because there's so much drilling down in each thing that I'm talking about that needs to happen. But the other thing that's happening is that you saw what happened with Francis Collins and Anthony Fauci. Are you familiar with this? So Megan Basham at the Daily Wire she's my favorite Daily Wire person, and it's a low bar because it's really her and Matt Walsh are the only good thing happening over there. But anyway, that's a whole other subject. So she did this huge investigation into how did the COVID regime get into the church the way that it did, and everything's hierarchical. And when you learn about Marxism, they go into the seminary so that they can take over the pastors, so that they can take over the churches. They don't go into the churches and go from the bottom up; they go from the top down, right? And so Francis Collins, who is a godless, wicked person who's done all kinds of crazy experiments on live babies, and I mean, just horrible stuff, right? Not good, and it's been in the name of science or whatever. Well, he's friendly with Russell Moore, who at one time was the head of the Ethics and Religious Liberty Commission, which was a lobbying arm of the Southern Baptist Convention. He's now Russell Moore's left the SBC in the midst of all this stuff. But Russell Moore was a big evangelical leader. Rick Warren, David French, and some of these other guys that are really, really big in the I call it Big Eva, the big modern evangelical church space. These guys are very influential. And so Francis Collins used his relationship with them to get them to use their platform and their influence in the church to get churches to shut down, to get churches to mask up, to get churches to vaccinate. And they put out PR campaigns like getting vaccinated is loving your neighbor, right? And duping Christians that just want to do what God wants them to do. And so they look to their leadership. Well, their leadership's being lied to by these scoundrels, to put it as nicely as I possibly can, because you think they're not getting money for this to peddle that influence? Right. You bet you know, they definitely are. And so now you've got this church that's just going lockstep with the regime. Right. So there's this whole movement in what I believe is now happening on regime-friendly Christianity versus not. So it's state-sponsored church versus not state-sponsored church. But that would take us like another 6 hours, so I'll stop there.
No, but I wanted to, of all folks I know, you in particular, I wanted to pick your brain on this because some people, I think it's a real issue. I think you see Vivek, you see how young he is, you see his name, you see he's a Hindu, he's a vegetarian. I know plenty of people here in Alabama that would go, what, that guy? But once you listen to him, and actually when you see him, I might have to pull up some of these videos of him interacting with the crowd in Iowa because he does a great job. He comes across as, now I think he had pretty much the already converted there to see him in Iowa, but there were people saying, okay, you're my guy, but I'm worried about this. Right. And he would address those concerns. Again, he's also not going to be, unless something crazy happens with Trump, he's not going to be president this cycle either.
He's running for vice president. And here's the thing. If Brian Dawson became president, what would he do with Vivek? On Tucker Carlson's interview with Vivek, he went into becoming semiconductor dependent in the United States, because right now we're semiconductor dependent on Taiwan.
Right.
And because we're dependent on Taiwan for our entire way of life and our ability to do every single thing that we do, China has massive sway over us and our ability to do on what they do with Taiwan. And that puts us in a really bad... In the same way, we understand energy independence. We get that we don't want to get our oil from foreign sources. We want to do it here, and we have the ability to do it. Well, we don't have the ability to become semiconductor independent. And he starts rattling off this incredible plan about how to do it and how long it would take. And so if I get into power, I'm saying, Vivek, you are in charge of making us semiconductor independent.
Oh, absolutely.
All these chips and everything are going to be done here in America. We're not going to depend on some foreign country for these little parts and pieces that keep our cars on the road and keep our refrigerators working. And I mean, everything, and our cell phones and, you know.
Well, and one thing I really, at the end of the day, appreciate about Vivek is like his intelligence is apparent.
Yeah.
And I really appreciate hearing somebody in politics that intelligent. I think it's probably also what, at the end of the day, really makes, say, the neocons like Nikki Haley or some of the Democrats nervous. Yep. They realize that this guy gets the platform of the vice presidency. There's no stopping him necessarily. Like, if we can't take him out now, he's going to be a force to reckon with.
And what Trump has done to the neocons, to me, is it's the most beautiful thing about all of the whole situation, okay? Yes. So we all were led to believe, I've said this like 7 times already on the show, that Mitt Romney and John McCain were basically John the Baptist, and that they were the most conservative thing that's ever happened in America. And then all of a sudden the veil was removed and we saw them for who they are, which is basically radical leftists pretending to be conservatives, right?
Exactly.
And they were the neocons, and it's like, whoa. Well, Trump comes in and completely destroys the template of what we're looking for in a president. And so now you see Donald Trump, Ron DeSantis, and Vivek Ramaswamy. I don't even know how to say his last name. Those are your top 3 people, and none of those 3 fit into that neocon mold. If this was 8 years ago, 12 years ago, Nikki Haley's winning by 70% right now.
Right.
She's a somewhat attractive neocon. You couldn't stop her.
Right.
Now she can't get 2 or 3%.
Well, and to me, the kicker is on most other things, Nikki Haley's great. On foreign policy, I'm like, I want to pull my hair out on foreign policy with her. So it's miserable to watch. What? And she literally is on the board at Boeing.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there you go. We got to hit this break. But first, this part of the program, usually we do phone calls, but our phones aren't working. But it's brought to you by Cohen's Electronics and Appliances. I'm a customer, folks. And I have to say, my Cohen's experience was a dream. It was easy. real easy. To go into that showroom and be like, all right, I want to fulfill a childhood wish. I always wanted the biggest TV ever, Michael. So he started showing me, here's the Sonys, here's the Samsungs. I'm like, I like the Samsung better. And I'm like, okay, let's get it real big. And now I'm sitting there in my head worrying that, okay, this thing is too big for me to handle it and to set it up. And it does cost a good bit of money. I'm trying to build credits. I'm justifying it that way. But, how do I get it in the house? Well, Cohen's had my back. Michael Jacks there at Cohen's showed up, and they got it all set up. They did not leave it also until, okay, let's get your Wi-Fi set up. Do you want to get the voice activation? They did it's not just they put it in a spot and left. No, they made sure the TV was exactly to my liking, my standards. And so that Cohen's experience, folks, again, second to none. And whether it's top end, the latest televisions, including those outdoor televisions for football season. I know a lot of folks like to sit outside by the pool and have a big screen as they're watching outside. But, of course, they also have audio equipment, including, say, outdoor sound systems or some of these state-of-the-art sound bars, not to mention the great appliances from refrigerators to washer and dryer units. And honestly, if you go into Cohen's with your checkbook open, you want to buy it all. But they can steer you in the right direction. What product best meets your price point, your budget? And again, they have that confidence they deliver because of the service after the sale. A lot of Cohen's customers have been coming back for decades. It's become a family tradition. My dad bought his first big screen TV from Cohen's. Nice. So it's like, you keep it going. So y'all check them out today. ThinkCohens.com is the website. It's ThinkCohens.com. You can always call them at 277-8890. It's 277-8890. Or just stop by 2515 Eastern Boulevard here in Montgomery. They're open 9 to 6 today, I believe 9 to 5 on Saturdays.
Yep.
And be sure to tell Michael Cohen and the team there that Joey and Eddie and bonus points if you throw in Brian Dawson from News and Views in the afternoon sent you. More news and views after this.
He may not know whether he's coming or going, but whether you're going to work or coming home, Greg Budell is there. Mornings 6 till 9 and afternoons 3 till 6. Only on News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
You don't have to pay today, tomorrow, or the rest of the year. It's the No Pay Labor Day event at Toyota Montgomery. Now through Monday, take your pick from new Toyotas like Camry, Corolla, RAV4, Highlander, and more. And pay nothing down and no payments till next year, 2024. We're just getting started saving you money, because when you buy Labor Day weekend, you don't have to pay any interest. Get unprecedented 0% APR financing on new Toyota models. Every payment goes directly to principal, and you don't pay the bank a penny. It's the absolute best time to buy a new Toyota, because you don't have to pay. No money down, no payments till 2024, and no interest. All offers absolutely end Labor Day Monday. Get more from your Toyota store. Hurry to the all-new Toyota Montgomery today. Online at toyotamontgomery.com.
$0 down on select new vehicles. 0% APR financing on select new 2023 vehicles. With approved credit through dealer preferred lender with $100,000 financing limit, maximum payment of $1,000 per month through 2024. Plus tax, title, license, and $995 doc fee. May not be combined with some offers. Ends 9/5/2023.
Looking for a new career with flexible hours, competitive pay, generous paid time off, and countless benefits? Then visit us at our job fair for the Riverside Marketplace at Wind Creek, Wetumpka, from 2 to 7 p.m. on Tuesdays, August 15th and 22nd, and Thursday, September 7th at the Entertainment Center. Can't make it? No problem. You can also visit our Career Center at Wind Creek, Wetumpka from 8 a.m. to 3 p.m. Monday through Friday. Kickstart your new career today.
What's your biggest investment? More than likely, it's your home. So treat it that way when you hire a painting contractor. At PBS Painting, there are no gimmicks, no $99 specials. Just quality painting and someone who treats your home with the same respect that you do. At PBS Painting, we have been painting for years, and look forward to many more years to come. With PBS Painting, the job gets prepped properly, whether it's cleaning, scraping, or priming. We always use quality products, which is a must for a quality paint job. So if you're looking for a painter that doesn't need upfront money and is on the job at all times, then please give me a call. Scott Bowers and PBS Painting, 294-5122. That's PBS Painting, 294-5122. Look at some of our work on Facebook at PBS Painting Montgomery.
For too long, Alabama's statewide news companies have shamed us for our conservative Christian values. Alabama deserves a news company that cherishes our culture, a company that isn't bought and paid for by the powers that be. 1819 News is that company. Run by Alabamians for Alabamians, 1819 News celebrates what is good and beautiful about our state, while exposing those who work against our values in secret. Just go to 1819news.com to learn more. Subscribe to our newsletter. That's 1819news.com.
Hi, this is Carl Schmidt, naturopath and owner of the Herb Shop. Listen every Saturday to Winning Wellness and learn from experts in different fields of science and technology how nutritional supplements can help you.
Listen to Winning Wellness every Saturday at 10 a.m.
This hour of News and Views is brought to you by our good friends at Cole Plumbing, 279-8919. Cole Plumbing is number one in the number two business. You don't have to dig a hole. They have proprietary pipelining technology. Ask them about their tankless water heaters. Remember, when you have trouble with your bowl, call on Cole.
On FM, on your smartphone, and online, the River Region's most trusted voice. News Talk 93.1 FM, WACV.
I leave the politics to a lot of the other people and also some other issues that you may be familiar with that I think you've been asked a billion times. But I want to end on this note, because I think it was yesterday or 2 days ago, there was an AP poll showed that 77% of Americans felt that Mr. Biden, President Biden, was too old to serve another term, including 69% of Democrats. Now, whatever you may think of that, the Democratic National Committee has said that there will not be a primary debate, which I understand. Historically, incumbents do not face primary challengers or debates generally. I have a feeling I know what you're going to say, but make the case to the DNC for having a debate, one debate between you, any other candidate, and President Biden in front of the American people to maybe assuage some concerns.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's the point, that there's a lot of misgivings now among a vast majority of both Republicans and Democrats about the president's capacity as mental acuity.
And again, I want to be clear, this is not my thought. This is AP poll, 69% of Democrats.
Yeah, I love how that to couch it. This is CNBC interviewing the other insurgent campaign here in this cycle of the RFK Jr. campaign. And should Biden debate? Yeah, of course he should.
Yeah,
of course he should.
I don't think he will.
But can he?
No.
So Robert Kennedy Jr. is going to go on.
Yeah. So I think it's important for the president to have a debate, to show that, this is a rigorous job, to show that he has the vigor, that he has the mental acuity, and to put those misgivings aside with the American people. But not only a debate, to have unscripted a conversation with voters, and to do some retail politics. Now, if he's going to have to debate President Trump or whoever the Republican is at some point, and to say that that he should sit on the couch. Now it's like preparing for telling a prize fighter, you got to prepare for this, for the prize fight, the championship, by sitting on a couch and eating Chick-fil-A. You need to be practiced.
By the way.
Well, more people. I think we all three in here would be prize fighters. That's all it took.
Oh, yeah.
Sitting on the couch eating Chick-fil-A, I can do that all day. But, I mean, what do we think at this point, as we're watching from our vantage point on the right, of RFK Jr. and his challenge to Biden? I mean, obviously there are things he's proposed where I don't like the guy. I'm not a Democrat. But generally speaking, I like the guy. And on big issues, I think he's right in the ballpark. And I wish more Democrats were this way.
Yeah, I mean, so it goes back to the Vivek thing again, right? And it's like, in Brian's perfect Christian nationalist country, Hindus aren't running the place, right? But you're talking about we're in such an awful place that anyone with a little bit of common sense would be a massive trajectory change that would get us moving in the direction that I believe that we should be in. And to me, RFK. But again, I always used to talk about historical politics. Like when the argument was like, you know what, people should pay 20% taxes. No, I think 30, and the Democrats arguing for 30%, and the conservatives, arguing for 20%. This is a beautiful place. I always said, like, if it's like, and I even made the case, I'm like, if it's JFK versus Donald Trump, we're in an America that we can actually get along with,
right.
with people who disagree with us. But it's not that. It's literally, Barack Hussein Obama, the Marxist that worked with Bill Ayers that was bombing stuff, and Joe Biden, it's not even at all the same. And so it is nice to see. To look, as a conservative looking at the liberal candidate who has common sense and who can make good arguments. And though I may disagree with him, I can see what he's saying and I understand how he got there. And those are conversations. I mean, just imagine, again, who knows, Trump, so, who knows what's going to happen. But imagine Trump debating RFK and that being our general election. Like, imagine the difference between what we've been seeing for the last 20 years and then seeing Trump and RFK having a debate over, like, because I don't think they actually disagree on anything, right? Like, my disagreements I have with Trump are probably matter of fact, I think RFK actually has a better COVID stance than Trump.
Yeah. Yes.
Okay. And so I think, you're talking Trump, at the end of the day, was a New York Democrat forever. And now he's turned into the working class hero. And so it's all about the working class. Well, what in the world have the Kennedys built their entire reputation on? Protecting the working class, right? And the downtrodden. And so now what we've gotten into is, in the flourishing of our country, the working class has become prosperous. And as they became prosperous, they started going a little bit more Republican. And I think RFK still is trying to protect that Oliver Anthony downtrodden working class, which, guess what? The trajectory we're on, some of those upper middle class people are now becoming downtrodden, right? And so I don't think him and Trump would disagree on that much. They would talk differently about abortion, but I don't think their position's that much different.
Well, and the debate, I think it's been proposed. I would love to see Vivek and RFK Jr. as well. And now, as I continue to bounce back and forth between RFK, Vivek, of course, Trump is always, he's leading the ticket, and he's in the middle of the news all the time. But there's something about these conversations that just seem more genuine, especially when you see these guys in long-form podcast formats where they can talk in detail for a long time. Even with RFK, with the thing going on with his voice, he's able to actually carry that conversation. And, it hit me earlier this week that there is a difference between, like, RFK's trying to get him back to that JFK Democrat thing, to your point you just made. Vivek's trying to say, I am running towards something. I'm going to restore these truths and these vision of the American ideals. But then when you hear like Nikki Haley, Mike Pence, what do we often hear? Now, Trump's a mix of these two, but we hear Joe Biden bad. We must fire Christopher Wray. And it's like,
send money to Ukraine.
Right.
Exactly.
But it gets back to this, like, I'm not selling something actually positive that people can rally around. What I'm selling is that guy's a bad guy. And yeah, I might be a little bad too, but I'm not as bad as him. I'm no saint, but he's a bigger sinner. And I'm tired of that argument, number one. And then to another point you made, you brought up Oliver Anthony. I don't know if you saw the Rogan podcast he did.
It's on my weekend listening list. I hate myself for not listening to it already. But
what it made me like Oliver Anthony more. That he was so frustrated seeing political, like the Fox News and all these folks try to cling on to his story and his song. Made me like him even more. He really doesn't like any of them.
Yeah.
I'm like, amen, man.
Nor should he. And again, that's what it goes back to, this whole party politics thing. That's the one thing that just makes me want to smash my head into things is when people are like, well, it's because they're Democrats. And it's like, stop it. Freaking stop, dude. The Republicans have trashed everything they touched. They hate your freaking guts. They don't represent you. You're a means to an end for them. They've got to go fool you in, just dupe you into voting for them so they can go and do whatever the hell they want. They don't care about you. Right? And so as soon as a strong conservative, like good strong conservative, starts making it, well, when the Democrats were in office, the Republicans don't even want to be in power. They would much rather fundraise in the minority about stopping Democrats. They're over in the minority saying, well, there's nothing I can do, but if you send me more money, I can,
more profitable,
you know, right? And then they actually don't have to do anything. Well, then what happens? You give them the president, the House, and the Senate, and they didn't do a dang thing.
No.
They weren't even going to pass those tax cuts. But Newt Gingrich and this group out of Atlanta called Job Creators Network that I used to do some work for did a massive campaign and put so much pressure on Paul Ryan to do those tax cuts. In 2017, we actually got tax cuts. But if it was up to the House, if it was up to Paul Ryan, we never even would have got that.
Right. Well, and I think all this goes together. It's why I'm paying attention to Vivek the most, because he says it outright. We're in a revolutionary moment.
Yeah.
Was that not how I would ask all those Senate candidates, Jessica Taylor, Katie Brett, Mo Brooks, Mike Durant? I would often preface it by, we're in a revolutionary moment, but not just politically. We're due to get rid of some institutions, build some new ones, restore some others. But it's technology. We could go down that rabbit hole with AI or the latest in like bioengineering and biotech. All these souping up of these viruses, yada yada yada. Are we going to end up on Mars? But so there are more and more revolutions happening technologically. But then I think there is this religious conversation. One thing I talked to on the show and in person with James Lindsay about, and I think I've admitted to this audience that I've gone through a more skeptical, let's say, prodigal phase, but I'm trying to come around to, leave the door open for that belief, leave the door open there for God to get into your heart. And James Lindsay, I think his past is, he was very much caught up in the new atheist movement. He's a very smart guy, can see how that happens. And even he and I've seen this with other folks that might still be considered secular, not in the slipstream. Jordan Peterson's a great example. That there's this conversation happening now on that theological level that is, I think, playing into the technological and political revolutions as well. And it's a very good sign that when you even have godless skeptics who are now talking about the Bible in detail and how important it is, something's going on. And I think it's a good thing that's going on.
When we were at the event, again, not to just keep beating the drum, the Christian nationalist, right, I'm up there with the atheist, and the atheist talked more about God, religion, and faith than I did. Right, he really did, and it's like, what can we do to stop this? He's got this whole thing in his podcast called Throwing Sand in the Gears, right? This is a huge machine, it's coming against us, what can we do? And so some of his solutions, his biggest one is pull your kids out of the public education system, here. So protect your children, he said, then protect your faith. That was his next one, protect your children and protect your faith. And I'm looking at him like, what did he just say? This is his second tenet. His first one is protect your children. And his second tenet of an atheist is protect your faith. Keep Marxism out of your Christian faith.
Right. Well, another example, y'all can go look it up, is a guy named Tom Holland, not the guy who played Spider-Man. He's a good actor. No, but it's a British guy, Tom Holland, who has been a historian for the longest time, and he's been a secular historian. He's never been a true believing Christian. I guess he grew up in the Anglican church and liked the hymns and stuff. But he was always the guy who was more interested, even in his Bible study classes, in like, what's this Roman thing? What's this Greek thing? So he did all these histories on Caesar and on the Greek city-states. And as he was doing his history, and been very successful in it, he kept noticing this Christian thing going on in the background as he's trying to study the history of Rome. And he starts looking into it, and he's like, his first thought is, this stuff is really weird. Weird in a way that catches your attention. Weird in a way of like, it changes the world. And so he decided, Tom Holland did, to sat out and say, okay, I keep seeing this in the background. So he set out to write a history of Christianity. He's not claiming to be a theologian. He still claims he's not a believer. But when you get through that book, and then you see the interviews of Tom Holland, on the other side of that thing, the guy sounds like your local pastor. And again, there's a fascinating thing going on, I think, where people are rediscovering our roots. And I'm willing to believe that if we push forward on that, we're going to have a lot of pleasant surprises and more revelations. So we'll see. But I I don't know. I find it fascinating this is going on. I think it bodes well and is actually the most important part of this revolutionary moment we're in.
Every major revolutionary moment throughout history, they were called revivals, they were called revolutions. Whatever you do, there's always the precursor to it all, the catalyst to it all is always a spiritual moment. There's always, God is always in it. And so the Great Awakening, you can see that was just a pure revival, but that revival affected the way they did government and everything else. Very real, measurable revival. But in the American Revolution, the American War for Independence, as I like to call it, I don't like it being confused with the French Revolution. But the American War for Independence, you have a Christian people who were going up against the most powerful military force in the history of the world up to that point, and they had very little gunpowder. What they did was cold and wet. They didn't have shoes. They didn't have clothes. They were in an impossible to win situation. And you go back to the Bible and you look at Israel. Every single major victory that Israel had that launched Israel forward was an impossible situation where God had to act. And so we're looking at biblical stories and we're thinking in like fairy tales. I believe that they're historical accounts. Well, then you move forward in church history or our nation's history to that moment in the American War for Independence, George Washington crossing the Delaware and stabbing the Haitians to death with bayonets while they were drunk on Christmas, right? And that turning the tide of the entire the entire world, right, in history. Those moments are that's God doing something. He's acting. He's and anyway, I could go on, but things don't turn around if God doesn't do something. And I believe you're seeing people like Joe Rogan, Elon Musk, Jordan Peterson, Tom Holland, all these people, their views on Christianity and God are completely being changed because you take a James Lindsay who sat and studied evil incarnate for 5 years now. He's been doing nothing but studying this stuff. He's came face to face with Satan and realized that there's a God. And he told me, he's agnostic, and he went from, he was angry, he left the church and he was angry at the church and he was throwing rocks at it, and he's now put the rocks down because he sees the value of the church.
See, and this opens up a whole other can of worms. I'm going to try to invite myself on your podcast sometime soon because I got plenty more.
Come on, we got to figure out the time.
Yeah, we have to figure it out. I'm always
now
on the radio. But folks, this part of the program brought to you by XI Repairs. Jonathan Strange still traveling, right, Eddie?
I believe he gets back this weekend. Yeah.
You go to Jamaica?
He went to Alaska. We're going to Jamaica next year.
That's close.
Yeah, so
he went to my old stomping ground.
Yeah, he would be here today, but he's traveling and well deserved there. And he's put together a great business at XI Repair. So if you're looking for, in particular, smartphone repairs, cracked screen, water damage, maybe a blown out speaker or a dirty port or whatever it is, battery not holding the charge.
Happens.
All these things can really make you go, oh, I need a new phone. No, actually, no, you don't. They can solve that problem without you having to get a new phone.
Right.
Often, like a cracked screen, they can get that done in like 30 minutes. I went and had a port repaired and the battery replaced in this iPhone 10 we're using to film. It was about an hour, and it was only cost like $100.
Nice.
Which is like a lot cheaper than a new phone.
Right, because we were worried, especially with the port, what that really was going to be.
Right. And that was that quick, and that, well, I felt frugal doing it that way. Is that a word? Frugal?
That's very wise.
I rarely feel that frugal. And of course, they can also help you with desktop computers, laptop computers, gaming consoles, top-end ones like a PlayStation 5. They can even do data recovery services. So if that SOB, soon-to-be ex-husband of yours tried to delete those incriminating text messages, girl, you can find them. Have your lawyer contact XI Repair. I don't know why I got so excited there. But you can always call them at 777-1234. That's 777-1234. Or go to xirepair.com and be sure to tell them, well, you heard about them here on News and Views in the afternoon. Oh, man, we're way behind.
Yeah, buddy.
Be right back.
Want to carry News Talk in your pocket? Download the News Talk 93.1 app from the App Store. Available on iPhone and Android. Never miss a moment. Download now.
Picture this. a serene, tranquil resting place surrounded by nature's beauty, a place where memories are cherished and loved ones are forever remembered. We're talking about your final resting place, and it's never too early to start planning for it. Pineview Memorial Gardens in Wetumpka has been family-owned and operated for over 55 years. We understand the importance of pre-need planning. You can make decisions that reflect your personal wishes. You can choose the perfect location, whether it's a serene garden, a peaceful mausoleum, or a place in our cremation wall. Pre-need planning alleviates the burden from your loved ones during a time of grief. By planning ahead, you can secure today's prices, protecting yourself and your family from future cost increases. So why wait? Contact Pineview Memorial Gardens in Wetumpka today. Your final resting place should be a reflection of your unique journey. Take control of your future and make pre-need planning a priority. Pineview Memorial Gardens in Wetumpka, where memories live on.
The Health and Wealth Show. The Health and Wealth Show. The show so nice, we said it twice. Weekday evenings at 6 on News Talk 93.1 WACV. The Health.
Break it up, son. Joke's over, hey?
Do you have a cell phone or tablet that isn't charging, dying fast, or maybe the screen is damaged? Don't get suckered into buying a new one. XI Repair can fix your current device same day and in under 30 minutes. Their certified technicians fix and recover data from thousands of cell phones, computers, tablets, game consoles, and drones 7 days a week. Give them a call today at 334-777-1234 or visit them online at xirepair.com.
This hour of News and Views is brought to you by our good friends at Cole Plumbing, 279-8919. Cole Plumbing is number one in the number two business. You don't have to dig a hole. They have proprietary pipelining technology. Ask them about their tankless water heaters. Remember, when you have trouble with your bowl, call on Cole.
When news happens, you'll hear about it first. The River Region's most trusted voice. News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
Welcome back. This part of the program brought to you by Montgomery Men's Health, and there at Montgomery Men's Health, they can, get your testosterone right. In fact, if you're feeling run down, tired all the livelong day, never in the mood either, well, Montgomery Men's Health has your back. They can take care of you there. So for only $99 in about an hour, you can know your testosterone numbers. And if you do, in fact, have low T, they have treatments there at Montgomery Men's Health that can truly change your life. Most men experience higher energy after these treatments, better gains in the gym. That's right, brother. Better mental clarity, improved sleep patterns, and you might even notice an increased libido. Ain't nothing wrong with that, Joey. Nothing wrong with that at all. There's a lot right with it. Right. Call them. Make an appointment. 440-3663. That's 440-3663. Or to go to MontgomeryMen'sHealth.com and be sure to tell them that you heard about them here on News and Views in the afternoon. The phones keep flashing like a Christmas tree over here.
We did have Sam for a second, but I think they're still working on it.
Okay, all right. And Ray Bowles is doing all right as we head into the weekend?
Good. Yep, he's doing good. He told us to go ahead and do the spot for him. So
wait, the spot for his company, Prattville Carpet? Mm-hmm. 285-8117 is that number?
The one we usually call every day.
Yeah.
And some days he actually lets us talk to other people besides himself, like Terry.
Right, the Scoutsman.
That's right.
Right. They're great folks there at Prattville Carpet. They'll literally go the extra mile, show up at your house for a free NO measurement, so that resurface job gets done right, whether it's brand new carpet and a great product. Traditional hardwood or something like luxury vinyl plank.
Sure, it could be ceramic tile.
Even ceramic tile. Maybe redo the kitchen.
That's it. On a backsplash.
So check them out today. That number, 285-8117. Or you can go to PrattvilleCarpet.com and be sure to tell them you heard about them here on News and Views. Well, what did we learn today?
It's good to see Brian. I ain't seen Brian in a couple of weeks.
Yeah, but every time Brian's here, you become as quiet as a church mouse over
Well, I'm
there.
usually listening. He's kind of a smart guy. I don't know if you know.
My fart smeller.
He is. I give him that, especially sitting in here.
Folks, go watch 1819 News, the podcast.
Oh, definitely.
Again, go watch. Not, Joey, I kind of, no. Go watch 1819 News, the podcast.
Do it.
Right now, go to Rumble, go to Spotify, go to Apple
Podcasts.
Podcasts. You can watch the video on all those platforms. Yeah. Go to it right now and watch the conversation Brian Dawson here had with James Lindsay. He was not exaggerating that this is probably the best y'all have put out, and I feel like I've put out some pretty good things myself there at 1819, and I agree with you.
It's the most important, is what I would say. It's the most important.
He's done this is a great job. Great getting James here, and well, thank you for being here today, man.
Appreciate you
Happy
stopping
to
by,
be
brother.
back.
Y'all have a good holiday weekend and happy hour with Greg Budell. Well, he's next.